The desert sun blazes like an angry furnace over the turquoise-domed skyline of Samarkand, casting a blinding, relentless heat that completely bakes the crowded marketplace far below. Down in the sprawling bazaar, a chaotic symphony of commerce rages on. Heavy iron-rimmed wagon wheels groan against the dusty stone paths, camel bells clang rhythmically, and spice merchants shout their prices in a dozen different dialects. It is a frantic, overwhelming crossroads where the immense wealth of the East clashes with the endless desires of the West. But if you look upward, far past the heavy cedar support beams of the grand trading house, there is a small arched window built into a high, timber-framed attic. Up here, the world changes instantly and completely. The moment you step through the thick oak doorway, the deafening roar of the Silk Road vanishes into absolute nothingness, utterly swallowed whole by massive mud brick walls that insulate this sanctuary from the frantic energy of the afternoon. Inside this hidden room, time does not move by the ticking of a clock or the urgent, demanding stress of trade. Instead, it flows as slowly and smoothly as golden oil pouring from a clay lamp. The air is remarkably cool, carrying the deeply grounding scent of dried mulberry leaves, aged cedar timber, and the faint, sweet dust of harvested silk. Shadows stretch lazily across the wide floorboards, illuminated only by a single flickering flame that casts a warm, soothing glow over rows of expansive wicker baskets. Inside those baskets lies the very essence of the Silk Road's legendary power, not heavy bars of gold or cold, glittering gemstones, but thousands of small, cream-colored oval silk cocoons waiting to be gently sorted. Your hands, steady, relaxed, and entirely unhurried, rest over the woven edge of the first basket. There is absolutely no pressure here. No demanding master oversees your progress, no impending caravan deadline looms over your head, and no outside noise can penetrate this peace. The sheer magnitude of a thousands of miles-long trading route is beautifully distilled down to this one quiet task, this singular, undisturbed space. As your fingertips lightly brush against the top layer of cocoons, a unique sound fills the room. It is a delicate, continuous rustling, a soft, dry whisper that perfectly mimics the gentle patter of a summer rain falling on a distant forest canopy. It is the softest sound born from the softest fiber known to the ancient world, inviting you to let go of the day, slow your breathing, and completely immerse yourself in a state of total, undisturbed serenity. Let the heavy weight of the outside world dissolve as we begin our quiet work. Lean back into the soft shadows of the attic, take a deep, slow breath of the rich scent of old wood and dried leaves, and let your mind drift effortlessly into the peaceful, repetitive rhythm of the ancient world. Each cocoon you touch has a story, a journey of quiet growth that parallels the peaceful stillness you're experiencing right now. For months, the tiny silkworms lived in absolute quietude, consuming nothing but the freshest, greenest leaves of the white mulberry trees that line the life-giving canals of the Samarkand oasis. They ate until they could eat no more, guided by an ancient instinct to spin a protective, flawless home for themselves. Each cocoon is a masterpiece of natural engineering, a single unbroken thread of pure silk wrapped around itself hundreds of thousands of times, preserving a sense of pure calm within its fibers. Now harvested and dried, they rest in these shallow baskets, completely safe from the unpredictable elements outside. The attic feels like a secure fortress of calm. The walls, built several feet thick from sun-dried earth and straw, hold back the immense heat of the Central Asian afternoon, keeping the interior at a perfectly comfortable, soothing temperature. While the outside world bakes and struggles, this room remains a cool, dim cocoon of its own. The flickering light of the clay lamp dances across the rough-hewn timber rafters above, casting long, soft shadows that seem to breathe with the quiet, meditative rhythm of the room. You reach into the first basket, lifting a small handful of the cream-colored ovals. They are incredibly light, almost entirely weightless, as if you're holding a cloud captured in dried earth. You let them slide slowly through your fingers back into the basket, swish, rustle, whisper. The sound is completely mesmerizing, a crisp, clean quality that immediately calms the mind. In the silence of the attic, This gentle rustling becomes your anchor, erasing all thoughts of tomorrow. The rhythmic sound of the cocoons sliding against one another becomes the heartbeat of this quiet attic, a steady, hypnotic pulse that pushes the rest of the universe far into the background. As your hands move to the next basket, you begin the delicate process of sorting, a task that requires no mental strain, only a soft, intuitive awareness of touch. Your fingers glide over the smooth, rounded shapes, instantly recognizing the subtle differences in texture, weight, and size. Some cocoons are perfectly uniform, smooth as polished ivory, while others possess a slightly rougher, more textured surface where the initial structural guide threads were spun. Each variation tells a silent story of the silkworm's journey, an individual life dedicated entirely to the creation of a singular, flawless thread. You gently pick up a small cluster, feeling the strange, almost weightless density of these natural structures. They are remarkably strong despite their lightness, a testament to the incredible resilience embedded within the delicate fibers of nature. With a gentle movement of your wrist, you separate them, placing the largest, most pristine ovals into a smaller wicker basket lined with soft linen fabric. The soft thud of each cocoon hitting the linen layer creates a low, muffled tone, a deeper counterpoint to the high, papery rustle of the main pile. This contrast in sound creates a soothing auditory tapestry that fills the silent spaces of the room, ensuring that the stillness never feels empty or cold. The clay oil lamp flickers slightly as a faint, almost imperceptible breeze slips through a tiny crevice in the mortar of the window frame, causing the shadows on the wall to shift and dance in a slow, graceful waltz. The golden light catches the edges of the baskets, highlighting the faint layer of fine silk dust that has settled over the dark wood of the floorboards, a shimmering testament to the generations of merchants and assistants who have sat in this very spot, performing this exact same peaceful ritual. You take a slow, deep breath, feeling the cool air expand in your chest, carrying with it the comforting, earthy aroma of the ancient timbers and the sweet, herbal undertone of dried vegetation. There is a profound sense of safety in this continuity, a realization that while empires rise and fall along the bustling trade routes outside, the simple, quiet act of sorting silk remains entirely unchanged, a timeless anchor of human calm. As you dive deeper into the task, your fingers develop a natural, effortless memory of their own, moving without the need for conscious direction or analytical thought. You find yourself noticing the incredibly subtle gradients of color among the thousands of cream-colored spheres. Some possess a brilliant, snowy whiteness that seems to catch and amplify the dim lamplight, while others lean toward a warm, buttery cream color, or a pale, soft ivory that feels incredibly soothing to look at. You sort them not just by size, but by these delicate shades organizing the chaos of nature into a beautiful, harmonious spectrum of subtle tones. The movement of your arms is slow and deliberate, a physical meditation that relaxes the muscles of your shoulders, your neck, and your back, allowing all the accumulated tension of the day to completely drain away into the floorboards beneath you. The thick mud brick walls feel like a protective shield, absorbing not just the physical heat of the desert sun, but also the mental noise and chaotic vibrations of the busy world below. Down there, people are bartering, arguing, traveling, and striving. But up here, your only responsibility is to appreciate the softest, most luxurious material known to humanity, one gentle touch at a time. With every handful of cocoons you move, the soft rain-like rustling sound wraps around your consciousness like a warm blanket, lulling your mind into a state of deep, undisturbed tranquility. It is a sound that does not demand attention, but rather invites your thoughts to settle. Like dust gently floating down through a sunbeam, you look at the vast expanse of the wicker basket still waiting for your touch, and instead of feeling overwhelmed by the size of the task, you feel a deep, comforting sense of satisfaction. The abundance of the baskets represents a vast ocean of quiet moments, an endless supply of peaceful interactions with the silk that will keep you safely anchored in this calm oasis for hours to come. The outer world, with all its noise and complexity, begins to feel like a distant memory, a completely separate reality that cannot touch the absolute serenity of this timber-framed sanctuary. You pick up another cocoon, rolling it gently between your thumb and forefinger, feeling the microscopic ridges of the silk thread, marveling at how something so incredibly small and fragile can form the foundation of an entire global empire of trade, yet remain so beautifully simple and peaceful in its truest essence. The slow, methodical process of sorting continues to wrap your mind in a cocoon of its own, safe from the passage of time. Your fingers dive beneath the surface of the wide wicker basket, plunging into the deep layer of cream-colored spheres. As you lift your hands, hundreds of cocoons shift and slide, creating a deeper, fuller rush of sound, a sudden, magnificent wave of soft rustling that crests, and then gently recedes into absolute silence as your hands come to rest. The texture against your skin is unlike anything else in the world. It is dry yet incredibly smooth, light as air yet structured with a firm protective density. You feel the microscopic overlaps of the gossamer threads, spun by a creature that spent its entire existence focused on a single, perfect act of creation. This realization brings a profound sense of purpose to your gentle movements. You are the custodian of this natural artistry, the one who honors the silent labor of the silk fields by carefully organizing each piece according to its unique characteristics. As you sort, you notice a specific group of cocoons that are remarkably small, almost perfectly spherical rather than oval. These are the rare, highly prized specimens spun by the young silkworms during the peak of the spring harvest, when the mulberry leaves were at their absolute sweetest and most tender. The threads of these smaller cocoons are incredibly fine, so delicate that they will eventually be woven into the translucent veils worn by the nobility of distant empires, or the lightweight robes of scholars who sit in quiet gardens thousands of miles away. You separate these delicate spheres with extra care, placing them into a specialized shallow basket made of finely woven reeds. The sound they make as they settle against the reeds is sharper, a crisp, paper-like whisper that adds a new layer to the auditory environment of the attic. Your ears become attuned to these minute variations in sound, finding a deep, symphonic beauty in the subtle music of the silk. The clay oil lamp beside you continues to burn with a steady, reassuring constancy, its wick soaking up the rich olive oil that smells faintly of sun-drenched groves. The golden flame casts a long, flickering shadow of your silhouette against the rough mud brick wall behind you, turning your simple, repetitive movements into a giant, slow-motion shadow dance. The shadows of the rafters above cross and recross the ceiling, like the complex web of paths that make up the Silk Road itself. But while those paths are fraught with danger, heat, and endless exhaustion, this room remains a haven of perfect stillness. You look down at the floorboards, noticing the deep grain of the ancient cedar wood, polished to a soft sheen by centuries of footsteps. Each knot and haul in the wood tells a story of survival and growth, mirroring the very nature of the silk cocoons resting in your lap. The heavy timber smell of the room deepens as the afternoon advances, mixing with the gentle grassy scent of the dried mulberry leaves that still cling to a few of the outer cocoons. With every minute that passes, your breathing synchronizes completely with the rhythm of your hands. You inhale deeply as you reach into the great basket, filling your lungs with the clean, comforting aroma of the attic, and you exhale slowly as your fingers release the sorted cocoons into their respective places. This breathwork becomes an automated, deeply therapeutic exercise, melting away any residual stiffness in your muscles and calming the final, stray thoughts dancing in your mind. The vastness of the trading world, the pressure of numbers, the calculation of profits, all of it dissolves into the gentle friction of fiber against skin. In this quiet space high above the world, there is no past to regret and no future to plan. There is only the absolute, undeniable reality of the present moment, distilled down to the touch of the softest substance known to the ancient world. You pick up another handful, letting the cocoons cascade through your fingers like a gentle, warming waterfall of pure peace, completely content to stay in this beautiful, undisturbed tranquility for as long as the sorting requires. The quiet sanctuary of the attic seems to expand as the external world grows more distant, creating a timeless vacuum where only the gentle rustle of the silk exists. You reach your hands deeper into the third large wicker basket, feeling the cool, dry density of the cocoons that have remained undisturbed at the bottom. As you stir them, a light, invisible cloud of pure silk dust rises imperceptibly into the warm air, catching the golden beams of the oil lamp and dancing like tiny glittering stars in a miniature cosmos. This fine dust carries the subtle essence of the earth, the rain and the sunshine that nourished the mulberry trees months ago, bringing the natural beauty of the fertile valley directly into this dim, timber-framed room. You pick up a cocoon that feels heavier than the rest, its walls thick and sturdy, indicating that the silkworm within spun its thread with an extraordinary abundance of material. This cocoon will yield a strong, resilient thread, perfect for weaving the heavy, lustrous brocades that line the winter coats of merchants traveling across the frozen Pamir Mountains. You place this sturdy cocoon into a wide, heavy ceramic bowl sitting on the floorboards beside you. The sound it makes as it lands is a satisfying hollow click against the baked clay, a resonant tone that echoes softly through the rafters before being absorbed by the thick mud brick walls. Every material in this room, the wicker of the baskets, the linen of the linings, the clay of the lamp, and the timber of the roof, has an organic, natural origin, creating a profound sense of harmony between the environment and the work you're performing. There are no synthetic distractions, no harsh edges, and no artificial noises to fracture the perfect continuity of your calm. Your fingers move to a cocoon that feels incredibly smooth, almost slick to the touch, with a natural satin sheen that glistens even in the dim lamplight. This one is destined for the finest embroidery work, to be dyed in vibrant shades of indigo, saffron, or madder root, transforming into intricate patterns of flowers and birds on a royal garment. The repetitive nature of the sorting task acts as a gentle massage for your mind, clearing away the mental clutter that accumulates from daily life. As you pick up cocoon after cocoon, evaluating its weight and surface texture within a fraction of a second, your conscious mind steps aside, entering a state of deep meditative flow. In this state, your awareness expands to notice the smallest details of your surroundings: the slow, rhythmic dripping of the olive oil within the clay lamp, the faint creak of the old cedar roof timbers as they settle in the changing afternoon temperature, and the deep, comforting stability of the floor beneath you. The attic feels less like a room and more like a protective bubble, suspended high above the chaotic current of human history, holding you safe within its quiet embrace. You feel a deep sense of gratitude for this moment of absolute stillness, recognizing how rare and precious it is to find a space where nothing is demanded of you except to exist and appreciate the simple beauty of nature's creations. A sense of profound comfort settles deep into your bones as you continue your work, your hands moving with a fluid grace that feels completely effortless. The thousands of cocoons remaining in the baskets no longer represent a task to be completed, but rather an invitation to prolong this state of blissful relaxation. Each handful you lift and separate is a step deeper into a peaceful wilderness of quiet thought, where the worries of the outside world have no power to follow you. The dry, rain-like whispering of the silk continues to play its soothing melody, a soft lullaby that calms your nervous system and invites a deep restorative peace to wash over your entire being. You let your eyelids grow heavy, matching the slow, gentle rhythm of your hands, completely surrendered to the timeless, undisturbed serenity of the merchant's attic, where the immense wealth of the ancient world is measured not in gold, but in the quiet fulfillment of a single peaceful moment. The shadows within the timber-framed sanctuary grow longer and softer as the afternoon progresses, spreading like cool velvet across the weathered cedar floorboards. The constant, rhythmic rustling of the silk cocoons serves as a gentle anchor for your awareness, keeping you perfectly centered in the absolute stillness of this present moment. As your fingers dive back into the large wicker baskets, you feel a deep connection to the generations of artisans and caretakers who have sat in similar rooms across the centuries, finding solace in the very same tactile sensations. Every touch is a lesson in simplicity. Each cream-colored oval is a quiet reminder that the most valuable things in life are often created through patience, persistence, and silent dedication. You lift a cluster of cocoons that have become lightly tangled together by their outer structural threads, the coarse silk that the worm uses to secure its foundation before building its inner sanctuary. With practiced, gentle movements, your thumbs lightly separate them, untangling the fibers without breaking the delicate structures. The sound of this separation is a unique, soft, tearing whisper, like the sound of dry autumn leaves brushing against a stone walkway in a gentle evening breeze. As you place the separated cocoons into their respective baskets, you realize that your mind has completely emptied itself of all unnecessary worries, leaving behind a clean, spacious clarity that feels incredibly refreshing. If you're enjoying this journey into the peaceful depths of the ancient world, please take a moment to subscribe to Sleepy History with Arthur. Leave a warm comment about your favorite part of this story and share it with someone who needs a moment of deep, restorative rest. By joining our quiet community, you help ensure that these journeys into the peaceful sanctuaries of the past continue to bring comfort to tired minds everywhere. Together we can preserve these hidden corners of history, turning the frantic energy of our modern lives into the slow, meditative rhythm of a Samarkand afternoon. With the channel's community held warmly in your thoughts, you return your focus fully to the baskets before you, watching the golden light of the clay oil lamp dance across the silken surfaces. The flame seems to pulse in time with your slow, deep breaths, casting an aura of timeless safety over the entire attic. You pick up a cocoon that possesses an unusually brilliant white hue, its surface so clean and flawless that it seems to reflect the tiny spark of the oil lamp like a miniature pearl. This specimen represents the pinnacle of the silk cultivator's art, a perfect convergence of healthy mulberry leaves, pure oasis water, and meticulous care. As you hold it, you marvel at how such an object of pristine luxury can emerge from the simple, muddy earth of the valley, transformed entirely by the miraculous chemistry of nature. You place it gently into the linen-lined basket, where it rests among its peers like a hidden treasure, a silent testament to the wealth that flows quietly through this ancient trading hub, far removed from the noise and greed of the open marketplace below. The air in the attic carries a comforting coolness now, a stark contrast to the oppressive desert heat that still lingers outside the thick mud brick walls. You can feel the solidity of the room protecting you, acting as a buffer against the chaotic currents of time and human ambition. In this high sanctuary, there is no need to hurry, no need to achieve, and no need to prove anything to the world. Your only duty is to remain present, to let your hands carry out their peaceful, repetitive dance, and to listen to the soft, rain-like melody of the rustling silk. Each handful you sort is a step further away from stress, a gentle descent into a state of profound relaxation that relaxes every nerve and calms every thought. The dry, soft friction of the cocoons against your skin becomes a familiar, comforting language, a whisper from the past telling you that it is safe to let go, safe to rest, and safe to completely lose yourself in the undisturbed serenity of this timeless merchant's attic. The gentle, steady rhythm of your hands creates a beautiful pattern of movement that flows effortlessly from one basket to the next. The large wicker container to your left is now half empty, its contents neatly distributed among the smaller baskets and ceramic bowls that surround your sitting area. As you reach down into the lower layers of the basket, the temperature of the cocoons changes slightly, feeling remarkably cool against your warm fingertips. They have been shielded from the ambient air of the room by the thousands of layers above them, preserving a refreshing chill that feels incredibly soothing to your touch. You scoop up a large double handful, letting the cream-colored ovals cascade slowly back through your open fingers. The sound is richer now, a deep collective murmur that fills the quiet space of the attic like the sound of water gently bubbling over smooth stones in a shaded mountain creek. This auditory landscape is completely immersive, washing over your thoughts and leaving no room for anxiety or tension to take root. You find a cocoon that is uniquely elongated, almost twice the length of the others, with a distinct indentation in the center that makes it look like a tiny silken peanut. This is a double cocoon, a rare occurrence where two silkworms chose to spin their homes together, intertwining their threads into a single shared sanctuary. The silk from this double cocoon is completely unique because the threads are tangled and knotted together by the work of two separate creatures. It cannot be unreeled in one long, continuous strand like the others. Instead, it will be used to spin a highly textured slubbed silk fabric known for its remarkable strength and rich, uneven surface character. You handle this shared creation with a deep sense of respect, feeling the incredible density of the combined efforts of the two tiny creatures. You place it into a special ceramic jar, where the sharp, resonant click of its arrival underscores the unique nature of its origin, a small variation in the endless sea of uniformity. The light from the clay oil lamp softens further as the sun outside begins its slow descent toward the desert horizon, casting the deeper corners of the attic into a warm, shadowy twilight. The ancient cedar beams above seem to lean closer, wrapping the room in an intimate, protective embrace that feels incredibly secure. You look at the dark, aged wood of the rafters, noticing the faint marks left by the axes of the craftsmen who shaped them centuries ago. This room has seen countless seasons pass, countless harvests gathered, and countless individuals sitting exactly where you are sitting now, finding peace in the simple, necessary tasks of life. This continuity brings a powerful sense of perspective, reminding you that your present worries are merely passing shadows, while the true essence of life is found in these quiet, grounding moments of connection with the natural world and the work of human hands. Your body feels heavy and relaxed, completely anchored to the floorboards, sinking into a state of physical comfort that allows your mind to float freely in the gentle currents of the story. As the sorting process guides you deeper into this meditative state, you feel a profound alignment between your internal rhythm and the peaceful environment around you. There is absolutely no rush, no pressure to finish, and no expectation of a grand conclusion. The value of the work is entirely contained within the peaceful execution of each individual movement. Your hands glide across the silk, your ears drink in the soft rain-like rustling, and your lungs expand with the comforting, clean air of the old timber attic. Sleepy History with Arthur is a sleep history storytelling platform created for entertainment, inspiration, education, and the promotion of positive emotional values. With this philosophy deeply embedded in the very fabric of our journey, you can fully surrender to the comforting weight of the narrative, knowing that you are completely safe, completely supported, and entirely free to let your mind drift away into a deep restorative sleep, cradled by the timeless serenity of this ancient Samarkand night. The darkness gently deepens in the high corners of the attic, creating a cozy contrast with the steady golden glow of the clay oil lamp. The small flame dances gracefully on its linen wick, casting soft, elongated shadows of the wicker baskets across the aged cedar floorboards. You reach out your hands once more, sliding them effortlessly into a fresh basket of unsorted silk cocoons. The cool, crisp texture of the thousands of cream-colored ovals immediately welcomes your touch, sending a wave of soothing relief through your tired fingers. As you move them, the signature sound of the attic fills the silence, that delicate, dry rustling that sounds so much like a soft summer rain falling upon a quiet forest canopy miles away from any city. It is a sound that has the unique power to quiet the mind, brushing away the noisy remnants of the day just as your fingers separate the silk. You carefully lift a single, large cocoon, holding it up close to the warm light of the oil lamp. Its surface is a magnificent pale ivory, almost glowing from within as the silk fibers catch and scatter the golden illumination. You turn it slowly between your thumb and forefinger, feeling the incredible lightness of this natural structure. It feels like holding a tiny piece of dried foam or a hardened bubble of cream. Yet you know that within this fragile exterior lies a single unbroken thread of silk nearly 1,000 paces long. The sheer perfection of nature's design leaves you in a state of quiet wonder, a peaceful contemplation that slows your heartbeat and relaxes your shoulders completely. You place it into the basket reserved for the highest quality silk, hearing the soft, muted thud as it lands against the linen lining, a sound that signals another small task perfectly completed. The heavy scent of dried mulberry leaves drifts up from the deeper layers of the basket, a rich herbal aroma that speaks of sunny afternoons in the green gardens along the Zarafshan River. This scent is deeply grounding, carrying with it the memory of the fertile earth, the cool river water, and the gentle breeze that rustled the trees before the harvest. It blends perfectly with the deep, comforting smell of the old cedar timbers that form the bones of this ancient attic. Together, these scents create an atmosphere of pure safety and comfort, a sensory sanctuary where the frantic pace of the modern world has absolutely no meaning. You take a slow, deep breath, allowing this rich, calming aroma to fill your lungs, feeling your entire body relax further into the supportive embrace of the floor beneath you. With every handful of cocoons you sort, the repetitive nature of the work becomes more and more like a gentle lullaby for your consciousness. There is no complex decision-making required, no problems to solve, and no stress to manage. Your hands simply know what to do, guided by the natural variations in size, weight, and texture. You find yourself noticing the subtle differences in the shapes of the cocoons. Some are perfectly symmetrical ovals, while others have a slight, elegant taper at one end, like a drop of water frozen in time. You treat each one with the same gentle care, recognizing that every single cocoon is a vital piece of the immense tapestry of the ancient Silk Road. In this quiet room, high above the busy bazaars of Samarkand, you have found a perfect pocket of peace, a hidden haven where the only requirement is to exist in absolute harmony with the softest fiber known to the ancient world. The transition from the late afternoon into the soft velvet twilight of the Samarkand evening brings a new layer of stillness to the attic. The air, which had been warm and dry during the peak of the day, now carries a refreshing, cool crispness that drifts through the thick mud brick walls, signaling that the desert sun has finally dipped below the horizon. You shift your position slightly on the woven reed mat, finding a new, comfortable angle that allows you to continue the sorting process without any physical strain. Your back leans against the sturdy central cedar support post, which feels cool and smooth against your spine, grounding you firmly to the earth. The clay oil lamp has burned down a few inches of its wick, the golden light it casts now warmer, richer, and more intimate, casting even deeper, more dramatic shadows that seem to dance in slow, hypnotic loops along the ceiling beams. You reach into the depths of a new basket, feeling the cool, firm surface of the silk cocoons. As your hands descend into the pile, the rustling sound begins again, a soft, dry whisper that seems to resonate with the very architecture of the room. This sound is your constant companion, a reliable, rhythmic pulse that keeps your mind anchored to the present. You move with a slow, deliberate grace, picking up small handfuls of the cream-colored ovals and allowing them to sift through your fingers. Some are smooth, some possess a slightly fuzzy outer layer, and each one requires a tiny, intuitive adjustment of your grip. This tactile experience is profoundly soothing, as if every touch is wiping away the static and noise of a busy life, replacing it with the calm, ordered tranquility of a time when the most important thing was the quality of a single thread. You feel a deep, abiding appreciation for the simplicity of the task. It is a humble, quiet work, yet it is the foundation of all the opulence that the Silk Road brings to the world, reminding you that great beauty and vast wealth are often born from the most modest and patient of origins. The aroma of the room remains a perfect natural blend of dry wood, sweet mulberry, and a faint, dusty hint of the earth. It is an olfactory memory of a garden, preserved here in the cool safety of this high timber-framed attic. You find yourself focusing on the scent as much as the sound, letting the two sensory inputs wrap around your mind, creating a cocoon of comfort that is as soft and protective as the silk you are sorting. You pick up a larger-than-average cocoon, its surface textured with a complex, interwoven pattern of reinforcing fibers. This one is strong, designed to last, a testament to the instinct of the silkworm to create a space of absolute security for its transformation. You place it into the basket for the most durable silks, feeling a sense of satisfaction as it settles in with a distinct, solid click. There is a deep, intrinsic logic to the way you sort, a silent, non-verbal language that your hands have mastered without effort. As the evening settles in, you become aware of the vast distance between this quiet attic and the world outside. Below, the city might still be alive with the echoes of trade, the movement of caravans and the chatter of merchants, but up here there is only the hum of silence, punctuated by the soft, rhythmic rustling of the silk. It is a complete, beautiful isolation that feels less like loneliness and more like a hard-won peace. You have created this sanctuary for yourself through the act of your own focus. Your thoughts, which might have been racing just a few hours ago, are now slow and steady, moving in sync with the soft falling sounds of the cocoons. You realize that you could stay here for hours or perhaps even days, and the world would continue to turn, but in this specific small space, you would remain perfectly centered, perfectly still, and perfectly at peace. Sleepy History with Arthur combines the power of AI to reimagine fictional historical tales, bringing peace, relaxation, and positive emotional values to our listeners. The rhythm of the night has fully claimed the attic, turning the space into a sanctuary of shadow and golden light. With the world below having retreated into the quiet of the late evening, the only sounds that remain are the ones you create with your hands. You reach into a basket that has been left undisturbed for a long time. The cocoons pack tight by their own weight. As you begin to stir them, the sound is different, deeper, more resonant, a soft, cascading rumble like the sound of dry sand pouring in a vast, silent desert dune. You feel the weight of the thousands of cocoons against your palms, a comforting, heavy pressure that grounds you even more firmly to the floorboards. The coolness of the silk, even after being in the room for many hours, persists, a refreshing sensation that keeps your senses sharp and your mind perfectly alert in its relaxed state. You notice a series of cocoons that are slightly stained with a pale golden hue, the natural color of the silk before it is processed. These are the most precious of all, the ones that hold the most concentrated essence of the mulberry nectar upon which the silkworms fed. They are remarkably heavy, their walls thick with extra layers of thread, and they emit a subtle, sweet, musky aroma that stands out from the overall scent of the room. You separate these with a sense of reverence, placing them into a small, intricate wooden box that sits on a pedestal by the lamp. The box is carved with patterns of lotus flowers and mountain streams, a fitting container for such high-quality material. As you close the lid of the box, the small, quiet click feels significant, a mark of respect for the natural bounty that has been gathered from the gardens of the oasis. Your movements have become a form of silent prayer or meditation, a continuous unbroken cycle of reaching, feeling, selecting, and placing. There is no longer any separation between you and the work. You are part of the process, an extension of the history that has flowed through this room for generations. The flickering light of the clay oil lamp reflects off the polished surface of your skin, highlighting the fluid grace of your wrists and fingers as they move through the baskets. You find yourself drifting into a state of deep reflection, where the history of the Silk Road isn't just a story you've heard, but something you feel in the very atmosphere of this room. The silk you are sorting is the same silk that has traveled across the endless plains of Central Asia, through the high frozen mountain passes, and into the grand, opulent courts of emperors and queens. Yet here it is in its most humble form, raw and unrefined, waiting for the process of transformation to begin. The silence of the night outside is absolute, a heavy velvet cloak that muffles the distant sounds of the city, ensuring that your concentration remains unbroken. You feel a sense of profound belonging in this attic, as if you were always meant to be here, in this exact moment, performing this exact task. The physical sensations of the room, the cool air, the warmth of the lamp, the dry texture of the silk, and the rich, earthy scent of the old cedar all combine to create a deeply immersive environment that fosters complete mental rest. You allow your eyes to drift closed for a moment, relying solely on your sense of touch to sort the cocoons. The experience is heightened in the darkness. You can feel the microscopic differences in the texture of the silk more acutely, the slight variations in size, and the subtle, unique qualities of each individual cocoon. It is a world of tactile discovery, a way of experiencing reality that is far more direct and honest than the complicated visual world you left behind at the door. You are content to remain here, lost in the soft, whispering ocean of silk, letting the night pass in a state of absolute, undisturbed serenity. The deep, quiet hours of the night have brought a profound stillness to the entire trading house, leaving you alone with the gentle rustling of the silk cocoons. The attic, once a bustling center of activity during the bright, sun-drenched day, is now a sanctuary of deep, meditative shadow. You continue your work, your hands moving with a rhythmic, hypnotic grace that requires no thought, only a soft, intuitive presence. The golden glow from the clay oil lamp has stabilized, casting a steady, unwavering light that illuminates the fine, gossamer threads of silk dust floating in the air. These tiny particles, illuminated by the lamp, drift like miniature constellations in the darkness, adding to the otherworldly feeling of the room. You find yourself watching them as you sort, letting your focus blur and expand, encompassing the entire quiet space of the attic as you continue to sift through the cream-colored ovals. You pick up a handful of cocoons from the very bottom of the largest wicker basket, where they have been compressed over time. Because of this pressure, they have developed a flatter, more irregular shape, which makes them feel even more grounded and substantial in your hand. You gently roll them against each other. The sound they produce now a low, muffled clatter that resonates with the deep, solid wood of the floorboards. It is a grounding, earthy sound, a reminder of the origins of the silk within the soil and the carefully tended gardens of the Samarkand Valley. You separate the flatter, more irregularly shaped cocoons into a sturdy, dark wood crate, where they will be set aside for the creation of spun silk yarn, a thicker, more textured fiber that will be woven into warm, durable fabric for the long journeys of the merchant caravans. The way you handle them is filled with a quiet, persistent care, a recognition that every piece of material, regardless of its shape or size, has a unique and valuable role to play in the grand tapestry of trade. The atmosphere in the attic is now deeply saturated with the scents of the night, the cool, damp air from outside creeping in through the eaves, the sweet, earthy musk of the mulberry leaves, and the lingering, warm aroma of the oil lamp. It is a scent profile that has become a part of you, a sensory memory that will stay with you long after you leave this room. You find yourself inhaling deeply, letting the air fill your lungs completely, and as you exhale, you release any last traces of tension that might have been lingering in your muscles. The physical act of sorting, combined with the sensory richness of the environment, has created a state of deep, restorative rest that is far more effective than any sleep you might have had elsewhere. You are in a place of complete safety where time seems to have stopped, and the only reality is the one you are creating with your steady, purposeful movements. As you work, you become aware of the subtle, beautiful patterns of the shadows on the walls, the way the rafters cast long, dark lines that seem to stretch and move with the flickering of the lamp. These shadows, combined with the gentle, rhythmic rustling of the cocoons, create an environment that feels like a living, breathing entity, a sanctuary that is holding you close and supporting your need for peace. You feel a sense of profound gratitude for this room, for the simple work, and for the opportunity to disconnect from the noise of the world and reconnect with the quiet, essential rhythms of nature. You pick up another handful of cocoons, feeling their smooth, cool surfaces against your skin, and you let them cascade back into the basket, the sound once again washing over you like a soft, comforting rain. It is a moment of total, undisturbed clarity, a space of absolute, beautiful silence where you are free to exist without expectation, without demand, and without end. You are perfectly at home here, in the heart of the Silk Road, sorting the softest fiber in the world, lost in the timeless, tranquil embrace of the merchant's attic. The deep, velvet silence of the midnight hour has transformed the attic into an island of absolute stillness, detached from the terrestrial world. You find yourself sitting in the very center of this silence, your posture relaxed yet alert, as your hands continue the rhythmic dance with the silk cocoons. Each motion is a quiet commitment to the present moment. You reach into a basket that has been tucked away in the deepest shadow of the room, and as your fingers touch the contents, you feel a subtle difference in the coolness of the cocoons. They seem to hold the chill of the night, a crisp, refreshing sensation that sends a gentle tingle through your fingertips. You scoop them up, allowing them to rain down in a slow, controlled cascade back into the basket, and the sound is mesmerizing, a dry, whispering rustle that feels like a secret being shared by the silk itself. It is a sound that bypasses the logical mind entirely, speaking instead to a deeper, more primal part of your being that craves this kind of ordered, predictable peace. As you sort, you become aware of a singular, perfect cocoon that stands out from the rest. It is slightly larger, with a surface so smooth it feels like polished porcelain. You hold it up to the golden flickering light of the lamp, turning it slowly to observe how the light glides across its curved ivory body. This is a special find, a rare, exceptionally high-quality specimen that will eventually be reserved for a royal gift, perhaps an ornate fan or a delicate embroidered handkerchief intended for a high-ranking diplomat. You place it with great care into a small velvet-lined box that rests on a nearby stool. The quiet, soft click of the lid is a testament to the importance of the work you are doing, even in the middle of the night, in a room that nobody else can see. Your dedication to the task remains absolute. If you're finding peace in these quiet stories and wish to support the continuation of this peaceful space, please subscribe to Sleepy History with Arthur. Leave a comment about how this atmosphere makes you feel, and share this session with someone you know who could use a moment of calm. Your support helps us preserve this sanctuary for all those who need a rest from the noise of the world. The atmosphere in the room seems to have thickened with the passing hours, becoming more intimate and more protective. The air is still, yet it feels vibrant with the history that this attic has witnessed. You can almost feel the presence of the generations of merchants who once sat here, their own hands performing this exact same ritual, their minds finding the same quiet refuge from the chaotic world outside. You are a part of a long, unbroken lineage of care, and this realization brings a profound sense of purpose to your actions. You are not just sorting silk, you are preserving a legacy, ensuring that the natural beauty of the world is honored and prepared for its journey. This sense of connection to the past is deeply grounding, helping you to feel less isolated and more aligned with the rhythms of history. As you finish another basket, you pause to stretch your arms, feeling the gentle release of tension in your shoulders and neck. The movement is slow and deliberate, a physical acknowledgement of your own comfort and well-being. You then settle back into your rhythm, your hands finding the cocoons with an ease that feels almost instinctual now. The light from the oil lamp continues to dance across the floorboards, casting long, shifting shadows that seem to pulse in time with your breathing. You are completely surrendered to the experience, your thoughts now merely passing ripples in the vast, calm pond of your consciousness. Everything in this room is conspiring to keep you in this state. The scent, the sound, the texture, and the warmth, and you are more than happy to let it. The world outside is forgotten, and in its place is a beautiful, endless sea of silk, a treasure of nature that you are privileged to sort, one quiet, gentle piece at a time. The night has matured, and the world outside the thick, protective mud brick walls has fallen into a deep, impenetrable slumber. Within the attic, the silence is so heavy and rich that it feels like a physical weight, one that presses comfortably against your skin and invites you to sink even deeper into your seated position. The flickering flame of the clay oil lamp has become your sole companion, its constant, steady pulse of golden light the only movement in the room aside from your own hands. You reach into a basket that contains the harvest from the northernmost edges of the oasis, where the mulberry trees grow slightly slower, producing a silk that is particularly dense and firm. As your fingers sift through this batch, you notice the distinct, subtle resistance of the fibers against your touch. It is a more robust, substantial sensation than the other cocoons, and it gives you a sense of groundedness that is incredibly satisfying. You continue to work, your motions now so fluid and ingrained that you no longer perceive them as a task. Instead, the act of picking up, evaluating, and placing each cocoon feels like a rhythmic breathing exercise, a way of cycling through energy and returning it to a state of stillness. Your awareness is entirely focused on the microscopic details of the task. You notice, for instance, the tiny natural patterns of the weave on the surface of the silk, a complex, chaotic, yet perfectly organized web of threads that reflects the tireless, single-minded labor of the silkworm. Every time you touch one of these natural structures, you're essentially touching a testament to nature's efficiency and beauty. You feel a surge of quiet, humble wonder at how something so insignificant in appearance can be the building block of such immense beauty and luxury. The air in the room has grown cooler, and with it, the scent of the dry timber and old dust has intensified, creating an environment that is deeply evocative and nostalgic. It feels like you're sitting in the heart of a library of history, where the books are not made of paper, but of raw, natural materials, you find your thoughts beginning to drift, wandering through memories of places you have been and moments of peace you have cherished in the past. These memories don't interrupt your work, rather they seem to be integrated into it, smoothed out and made gentle by the steady rustling sound of the silk. You are effectively weaving your own experiences into the fabric of the night, letting them settle into the quiet, dark corners of the attic where they can be held, examined, and eventually let go. With every passing minute, the boundary between your inner state and the room around you seems to blur. The stillness of the attic is your stillness. The soft, rhythmic sound of the cocoons is your own breathing. The golden warmth of the lamp is your own sense of calm. You feel entirely supported by this space, as if the room itself were a living, breathing entity designed to cradle you in its quiet, protective arms. You are in no hurry to reach the end of the baskets. In fact, the sight of the remaining pile is a source of pure comfort, an assurance that you can stay in this meditative flow for as long as you wish. You lean back, resting your spine against the sturdy cedar post, and simply enjoy the sensation of existing without requirements or expectations. You are a part of the quiet historical pulse of Samarkand, a temporary guardian of its most precious, delicate treasure, drifting slowly, beautifully, into the profound serenity of the night. The darkness is not empty, it is full of potential, full of rest, and full of the gentle, whispering promise that everything is exactly as it should be, held fast in the heart of this ancient whispering attic. The hour grows late, and the silence of the attic has become so absolute that it feels like a soft velvet curtain pulled tightly around your senses, excluding all thoughts of the world beyond. The golden light from the oil lamp has dipped lower, casting long, sweeping shadows that seem to stretch into infinity across the floorboards. You find yourself leaning into the rhythm of the work with a newfound sense of weightlessness. The cocoons, which seemed light before, now feel as if they are made of nothing but pure distilled peace. Each one you touch acts as a key to a secret, internal doorway, allowing you to bypass the noise of the conscious mind and slip into a state of deep, undisturbed introspection. You reach into a basket that has been left in a corner, its contents slightly dusty from the passage of the season, and as you sift through them, the sound of the silk is even more subdued, a muffled, ghostly rustle that barely breaks the silence, like a whisper echoing in a vast empty hall. You take a moment to pause, holding a handful of the silk cocoons motionless in your palms. They are cool, solid, and incredibly soothing against your skin. You feel the subtle, complex textures, the microscopic ridges, the slight dampness of the fiber, the natural variations in surface tension. These are the building blocks of beauty. Yet here they remain, simple and unadorned in their raw state. You appreciate their honesty, the way they exist without pretense or vanity, simply waiting for the process to continue. You place them into a wooden crate with a gentle, deliberate motion, and as you do, you feel a deep, abiding sense of gratitude for this simple, repetitive labor. It is a task that asks nothing of you but your presence, and in return, it gives you a respite from the complexity of life, a place where you can be truly, honestly, and completely yourself. The air in the room carries the distinct, sweet, and slightly smoky scent of the oil lamp, mixing with the woody, dry fragrance of the attic's bones. It is a scent that you have come to associate with this state of calm, a sensory signal to your nervous system that it is safe to completely let go. Every breath you take is deeper and slower than the last, filling your lungs with the quiet, dusty, and comforting atmosphere of this sanctuary. You find that your pulse has synchronized with the gentle cadence of your hands. Everything is in alignment. Everything is in harmony. You feel the strength of the mud brick walls surrounding you, a solid, unmoving presence that guarantees your safety and stability. You are in the heart of a bastion of silence, a place where the passage of time is measured not in hours or minutes, but in the slow, peaceful movement of silk through your fingers. As you look around the attic, the dim light makes it difficult to see the edges of the room, and this adds to the sense of infinite space. You feel as though you could stretch out in any direction and find nothing but comfort and support. The piles of baskets, the stacks of crates, and the various ceramic containers of sorted silk. All these become part of a landscape of rest, a geography of peace that you have helped to create. You are no longer just an assistant. You are the caretaker of this stillness, the guardian of the quietude that defines this place. There is a deep, profound dignity in this role, a sense that your presence here is both natural and necessary. You continue to sort, letting the gentle rustling melody of the cocoons wash over you, one handful at a time, allowing the night to continue its steady, peaceful progression. There is no destination, no end goal, just the eternal, beautiful process of touch, movement, and silence. You are completely and utterly at rest, held in the timeless, tranquil embrace of the merchant's attic, where the only thing that matters is the gentle sound of the silk whispering to the darkness. The night has settled into a deep, unwavering stillness, the kind that feels as if the entire world has held its breath to let you experience this moment of singular calm. In this absolute quiet, the rustling of the silk cocoons in your hands takes on a musical quality, each movement composing a soft, delicate symphony of texture and sound. You reach into the final large basket of the evening, feeling the cool, firm surface of the silk pressing against your palms. The cocoons here have been undisturbed for weeks, and as you begin to gently turn them, they shift with a delightful rhythmic friction. It is a sound that resonates deep within your chest, a gentle reminder that you are present, you are safe, and you are exactly where you need to be. If you find this journey through the merchant's attic to be a source of genuine peace, please take a moment to subscribe to Sleepy History with Arthur. Share this tranquil experience with a friend who might need to unwind, and leave a comment below to let us know how the quiet atmosphere of Samarkand has helped you relax tonight. Your engagement helps build this community of serenity, allowing us to keep these doors open for anyone seeking refuge from the hectic pace of modern life. As you sift through the final batch, you notice how the light of the oil lamp catches the edges of the baskets, creating a warm golden halo that illuminates your work. Your fingers feel nimble and light, moving with an ease that comes only from hours of sustained meditative focus. You find a cocoon that is perfectly shaped, a beautiful, flawless oval of pale cream, and you take a moment to admire its elegance before placing it into the finest collection basket. The way the light plays across its smooth surface is mesmerizing, a reminder of the inherent beauty found in the most humble of natural objects. You feel a deep, abiding respect for the silkworms that labored to create these intricate protective shells, and for the generations of artisans who have refined the process of gathering and sorting them. Your role in this history feels significant, not because of the wealth of the silk, but because of the quiet dedication you bring to this small, unassuming room. The air in the attic is now deeply infused with the scent of dried mulberry, an aroma that has become a comforting, familiar anchor for your senses. It is a grounding, earthy smell, one that speaks of the fertile soil, the life-giving water of the canal, and the patient growth of the trees that provide the lifeblood of the silk industry. This scent, combined with the dry, woody fragrance of the attic, creates a sensory environment that is profoundly restorative. Every breath you take is a deep, slow replenishment of your inner reserves, clearing away the last remnants of mental fatigue and leaving behind only a clean, spacious clarity. You find yourself drifting deeper into a state of semi-consciousness, where your mind is free to roam through the quiet corridors of memory and imagination without any external pressure or judgment. The space around you feels incredibly protective, as if the thick mud brick walls are acting as a barrier against all the chaos of the outside world, preserving this moment of peace for you alone. The shadows on the ceiling continue their slow, gentle waltz, a mesmerizing display that draws your gaze upward whenever you take a brief pause from your work. The entire room feels as if it is suspended in time, a bubble of tranquility that is indifferent to the passage of the hours. You feel completely at ease here, your body relaxed, your mind quiet, and your spirit nourished by the simplicity of the task at hand. There is no urgency to finish, no deadline to meet. There is only the present moment, the soft rhythmic sound of the silk, and the comforting golden glow of the lamp. You continue your work with a smile, fully surrendered to the profound, undisturbed serenity of the merchant's attic, where the immense wealth of the trading route is distilled down to this one singular peaceful experience. The late-night air within the timber-framed attic has reached a perfect equilibrium, a cool, still temperature that feels like a soft, invisible blanket draped over your shoulders. The flame of your small clay lamp has burned down until it is little more than a tiny glowing beacon of amber light, casting even softer, more diffused shadows that sway almost imperceptibly against the dark, rugged mud brick walls. You find yourself moving with a slowness that feels nearly liquid, your hands navigating the remaining baskets with an intuitive grace that requires absolutely no conscious thought. The cocoons you're sorting now are the smallest, most delicate specimens of the entire harvest, each one a miniature masterpiece of engineering that feels like a tiny, solid sphere of silk in your palm. As you pick them up and let them drift down into the storage box, they make a sound that is almost musical, a high, thin rustling that reminds you of the sound of dry grass swaying in a distant midnight breeze. You realize that your perception of time has shifted significantly. Minutes and hours have ceased to hold any meaningful distinction, replaced entirely by the slow, circular progression of your own breathing and the steady movement of your hands. You are no longer counting how many baskets remain. You are simply existing within the task itself, becoming a part of the attic's long history of quiet, dedicated labor. This realization brings with it a wave of profound comfort. You feel completely anchored in this space, supported by the sturdy cedar beams and the thick protective walls that have stood here for centuries. There is a sense of timelessness that permeates every corner of the room, a feeling that this exact moment has been happening for hundreds of years and will continue to happen long after you have stepped out of the attic and into the cool, silent night. You are a participant in a legacy, a temporary steward of the peace that defines this merchant's attic. The scent of the room has evolved as well, becoming deeper and more complex. The sharp, herbal notes of the mulberry leaves have mingled with the heavy, aged aroma of the timber, creating a fragrance that is deeply grounding and evocative of the earth itself. It is a scent that seems to permeate your very being, calming your nervous system and lulling your mind into a state of deep, undisturbed rest. Every time you inhale, you feel as though you're breathing in the tranquility of the ancient world, filling your lungs with the essence of a time when the world was vast, quiet, and interconnected by these very threads you are now sorting. The mental clutter of the modern world, the rushing, the noise, the endless stream of information is entirely absent here. In its place is a clean, expansive silence, a void that is not empty, but full of potential, stillness, and the gentle whispering promise of deep, restorative sleep. As you reach into the very last of the wicker baskets, your movements are characterized by a sense of finality that is entirely lacking in urgency. You handle each remaining cocoon as if it were a precious, final artifact, giving each one your full, undivided attention. You find a cocoon that is perfectly shaped, a pale, ivory-colored gem that seems to hold the light of the lamp within its fibers. You hold it for a moment, feeling the cool texture of its surface, before placing it into the storage box with a gentle, satisfying tap. The sound is final, a small, resonant signal that your work here is nearing its completion. You don't feel a need to rush to the end. Instead, you savor every final handful, every final movement, and every final sound. The attic is now a sanctuary of total contentment, a space where you have successfully distilled all the complex, chaotic energy of the Silk Road into this single, pure experience of calm. You are perfectly at peace, your hands resting in the basket, your eyes drifting closed as the soft, rain-like rustling of the silk continues to play in the background, a lullaby for the soul, preparing you for the deep, dreamless sleep that is now waiting for you in the heart of this ancient, whispering sanctuary. The final handful of silk cocoons from the last basket now rests in your hands, the weight light and reassuring, as if you are holding the very essence of the quiet night itself. You don't hurry to place them into the storage box. Instead, you take a slow, deliberate moment to simply feel the cool, dry, and textured surfaces against your skin. The air in the attic is perfectly still, the flickering oil lamp having reached a state of consistent, low-burning amber that casts only the most gentle, subtle illumination across the room. You feel a sense of profound completion, not just of the task, but of the entire experience. You have spent hours in this sanctuary, moving at the pace of the ancient world, and in doing so you have allowed your own inner rhythm to slow down and align with the quiet pulse of the room. Every movement you have made from the first basket to the last has been a deliberate act of mindfulness, a way of grounding yourself in the physical reality of the silk and the profound, undisturbed serenity of the high timber-framed attic. As you finally release the cocoons, letting them settle with a soft, final murmur into the velvet-lined crate, you feel a deep, expansive sense of release throughout your entire body. Your shoulders drop, your jaw relaxes, and your breathing slows to a rhythmic, effortless pace that perfectly matches the silence of the room. You have done the work, you have honored the tradition, and now there is nothing left to do but sit and exist in this beautiful, hard-won tranquility. The shadows that fill the attic no longer feel like dark, mysterious shapes. They are now part of a comfortable, protective embrace that surrounds you, holding you safely in the heart of the night. You lean back against the heavy cedar support post, feeling its strength and coolness against your spine, and you allow yourself to fully appreciate the stillness. It is a rare and precious thing to be this completely at peace, far above the world of noise, in a place where only the gentle memory of the day's work remains. The scent of the attic, the blend of dried mulberry, old timber, and a hint of olive oil, seems to reach its peak in these quiet final moments, wrapping around you like a familiar, comforting perfume. It is the scent of a long history, a fragrance that has been present in this room for as many years as the building itself. You find yourself inhaling it deeply, savoring the way it grounds you, reminding you of the earth, the trees, and the long, slow, natural processes that created the silk you have been sorting. There is no need for words, no need for thoughts, no need for plans. The world is reduced to the present moment, the cool floor, the steady, warm glow of the lamp, the profound silence, and the knowledge that you are safe, secure, and completely at rest. You feel a deep, quiet gratitude for this sanctuary, for the way it has allowed you to disconnect from the frantic energy of the marketplace below and find your way back to a simpler, more essential version of yourself. As you look around the dim room, you see the rows of filled baskets and crates, a testament to your quiet dedication throughout the hours of the night. It is a satisfying sight, a visible representation of your patience and focus. But more than the task itself, it is the feeling of deep, inner quiet that lingers with you. You realize that you can carry this peace with you whenever you leave the attic. You have tapped into a well of serenity that is always present, always available, if only you choose to slow down and pay attention to the simple, rhythmic beauty of the moment. You close your eyes, letting the last faint sounds of the attic, a distant, almost imperceptible creak of wood, the low hum of the wick, guide you into a state of even deeper, more restorative rest. You are drifting, floating in the gentle, dark, and utterly peaceful sea of the Samarkand night, completely surrendered to the promise of sleep, held in the timeless, tranquil heart of the merchant's attic. With the sorting finally complete, you find yourself lingering in the attic, unwilling to immediately break the spell of such profound stillness. The quiet is absolute now, a thick, living presence that fills every corner of the room, from the rough-hewn floorboards beneath you to the dark, majestic rafters overhead. You shift your weight on the reed mat, feeling the familiar grounding texture against your skin, and stretch your legs out, letting the accumulated fatigue of the long hours melt away into the sturdy wood. There is a deep physical joy in this release. The sensation of your muscles unwinding, your blood flowing more freely, and your breathing settling into a rhythm so steady it feels like it is governed by the very movement of the stars outside. You are fully present in this moment, held in the cradle of the night, listening to the subtle, almost rhythmic creaking of the building as it settles, a gentle, ancient sound that speaks of stability and permanence. The clay oil lamp, now reduced to a tiny pulsing spark of amber, throws the most delicate flickering patterns against the mud brick walls. These shifting shapes seem to tell the stories of all the nights this room has seen, of the countless merchants and assistants who sat here, perhaps in this exact spot, finding the same peace that you are experiencing right now. You feel a quiet, profound kinship with them, a bridge across time built not of words, but of the shared, simple experience of being human in a quiet place. This realization adds a layer of depth to your rest, You are not just alone, you are part of a long, unbroken tradition of seekers finding refuge in the silence. It is a comforting thought, one that makes the darkness feel warm and familiar, rather than vast and empty. You notice how your mind has become remarkably quiet. The internal chatter that often occupies the spaces between moments, the worries, the plans, the lingering questions, has completely evaporated, replaced by a crystalline clarity. You can feel the coolness of the air on your face, the texture of your clothes against your skin, and the comforting weight of the silence. It is a state of total unadulterated existence, a rare and precious gift you have granted yourself through the slow, meditative process of the evening. You realize that this quiet is not something you have to search for. It is something you simply have to permit yourself to occupy. By turning your back on the urgency of the world and embracing the slow, deliberate pace of the attic, you have arrived at a place of genuine, authentic rest. The scent of the room, that complex, beautiful bouquet of mulberry leaves, cedar and faint, sweet lamp oil, remains as powerful as ever, serving as a fragrant reminder of your journey. You find yourself focusing on each note, letting it transport you deeper into your own senses. There is no need for anything else. No need for music, no need for conversation, no need for distraction. The world is complete exactly as it is. In this dim, silent sanctuary, you close your eyes again, fully surrendering to the sensation of being held, of being safe, and of being utterly at peace. The night is deep, the attic is still, and you are drifting on the gentle, slow currents of the Samarkand air, ready to let the last vestiges of your awareness dissolve into the soft velvet promise of a deep, restorative, and truly dreamless sleep. The absolute stillness of the hour wraps around you like a heavy, comforting cloak, insulating you from the passage of time. You find that you are no longer sitting merely as an observer in this attic, but rather as an integral part of its architectural silence. Your posture is effortless, your spine aligned with the sturdy cedar post at your back, and your breath follows the slow, rhythmic expansion and contraction of the room itself. Every time the wind whispers against the mud brick walls, it sounds like a soft collective sigh of the building, a reminder that you are safely nestled deep within the heart of Samarkand. You feel a strange and wonderful sensation of being weightless, as if the floorboards have become a cushion of air and the heavy rafters are keeping watch over your slumber. The oil lamp is now just a single flickering ember, its light so faint that the room is mostly occupied by a deep, velvety indigo darkness that feels incredibly gentle on your eyes. You recall the sensation of the silk cocoons in your hands, the way they felt like tiny captured moons, cool and smooth against your skin. Even now, with the baskets empty and the work complete, your fingers retain a muscle memory of that tactile grace. You move them slightly, brushing them against the soft fabric of your robe, and the sound is barely a whisper, yet it carries the entire weight of your evening's labor. This subtle movement is enough to trigger a deep, pervasive feeling of accomplishment. You did not strive, you did not push, you simply honored the natural rhythm of the material. There is a deep, quiet power in such simplicity, a recognition that the most significant outcomes often come from the most humble and patient of beginnings. You feel an immense quiet pride in the order you have restored to the attic, in the way every crate and basket is perfectly placed and ready for the morning. The air in the room, once filled with the active, busy scent of fresh silk, now carries a settled, nostalgic quality, as if the attic itself is digesting the day. It is an aroma of endurance, the enduring strength of the timber, the enduring legacy of the trade route, and the enduring capacity of the human spirit to find peace amidst the chaos. You find yourself drifting into a light, airy headspace where your thoughts take on the form of soft, floating clouds. They move through your mind without impact, without friction, simply passing by like shadows on the wall. You observe them with a detached, serene curiosity, feeling no need to grab hold of them or analyze their meaning. You are content to simply be the sky in which they drift, vast, quiet, and eternally calm. It is a profound meditative state that you have reached through the slow, steady process of the night. As you prepare to finally let go of the last remnants of your wakefulness, you feel a deep, grounding connection to the very earth upon which the trading house is built. The coolness rising from the floorboards is a reminder of the deep, subterranean stability of the land. It feels as if the entire house is rooted in the soil, and through this connection you too are rooted, safe from all storms, worries, and fluctuations of the world above. The dark corners of the room are no longer shadows, but deep, welcoming pools of stillness. You begin to breathe in the darkness, letting it wash over your limbs, relaxing each one in turn. Your toes, your ankles, your knees, your hips, each part of you is being claimed by the soft gravity of the deep night. You are ready to descend into the quietest part of yourself, guided by the familiar, lingering scent of the mulberry leaves and the absolute unwavering protection of the attic. There is nowhere else to be, nothing else to do, and the night is long, deep, and beautifully silent, waiting to catch you in its embrace. The atmosphere in the attic has become so deeply tranquil that even the smallest, most natural sounds seem to carry a profound significance. You listen to the expansion and contraction of the ancient cedar beams, a gentle, rhythmic groaning that speaks of the building's long history and the patience of the wood itself. It is the sound of the house breathing a slow, deep respiration that perfectly mirrors your own. You feel a deep, resonant connection to this space. The attic is no longer just a room, but a companion, a silent protector that has guided you through the long hours of the night. You are aware of the immense thickness of the mud brick walls, the way they create a thermal and acoustic sanctuary that renders the outside world completely non-existent. There is a sense of utter detachment from the city of Samarkand. The bustle, the commerce, the heat, and the history all exist outside these walls, while you remain here, suspended in a state of absolute pure stillness. As you lie back, resting your head on the cool, woven surface of the reed mat, you feel the texture of the floorboards pressing firmly against your back. It is a solid, unmoving presence that provides you with a foundation of complete security. You find yourself focusing on this sensation of being grounded, letting the tension leave your muscles as they surrender to the gravity of the room. You have done all that was asked of you. The work is finished, the baskets are ordered, and the peace you have cultivated is now yours to keep. This realization brings a sense of deep, quiet pride, a calm satisfaction that settles in your chest and radiates outward to your limbs. You have turned the chaotic potential of the harvested cocoons into a structured, harmonious arrangement, and in doing so you have achieved a similar order within yourself. The silence you have fostered is a reflection of the peace you now carry within. The scent of the attic, which has been your constant companion throughout this long journey, is now at its most potent and comforting. It is a mixture of dry, earth-bound notes, the woody perfume of the cedar, the dusty sweetness of the mulberry, and the faint, lingering hint of the oil that fed the lamp throughout the night. It is an aroma that feels profoundly ancient, as if it carries the scent of the very caravans that traveled these routes centuries ago. You find that your mind is increasingly receptive to these subtle sensory inputs, allowing them to paint vivid pictures in the dark. You can almost see the caravan trails winding through the mountains, the soft golden light of the oasis, and the patient, quiet labor of the silkworm, all folded into the very air you are breathing. These mental images are not distracting, they are comforting, like a familiar story told in the soft, low voice of a friend. As you drift further into the late, deep hours of the night, you feel your awareness thinning, becoming light and porous. You are entering a space where the distinction between your own physical boundaries and the space of the attic begins to blur. You feel as though you could stretch out your arms and brush against the walls or reach up and feel the rough, weathered texture of the rafters, all without ever leaving your place on the floor. It is a state of expansive, peaceful existence that defies the logic of your daytime self. You are completely comfortable in this state, fully surrendering your identity to the quietude of the attic. There is no urgency to wake, no duty to fulfill tomorrow that outweighs the necessity of this current rest. You are a part of the attic, a temporary inhabitant of its stillness, and you are perfectly content to be held, cradled, and lulled into the infinite soft darkness that is now waiting to receive you completely. The final moments of the night are unfolding with a gentle, deliberate grace, as if the darkness itself is weaving the last threads of your long, peaceful vigil into a soft, protective tapestry. You lie perfectly still, listening to the silence, which is no longer empty but vibrant with the slow, resonant heartbeat of the ancient timber. Every creak of the floorboards, every soft sigh of the night air as it brushes against the eaves, feels like a lullaby designed specifically for you. You have reached the final destination of this meditative journey, a place of pure, unadulterated existence where your consciousness rests, light and untethered, in the heart of this quiet sanctuary. The world below, with its constant demands, fleeting interests, and restless energy, has completely faded from your awareness, replaced by the profound, eternal stability of this high mud brick attic. You are anchored here, not by weight, but by the sheer quiet force of your own willingness to let go. You find yourself observing the room with a sense of detachment that is both soothing and liberating. The dim, shadowy forms of the baskets and crates are now just silhouettes against the deeper, dark, familiar landmarks in a landscape of rest. You recognize them as the tools of your labor, but they are silent now, their purpose fulfilled, their contents tucked away in orderly, safe storage. You are proud of the work you have done, but more than that, you are deeply grateful for the state of mind it has invited you to inhabit. By performing the simple, repetitive actions of the night, you have effectively swept away the noise of your own life, leaving behind this pristine, quiet space for your mind to settle. It is a lesson in the power of simplicity, a testament to the idea that true peace is not found in grand gestures or complex resolutions, but in the patient, focused devotion to the present moment. The fragrance of the room, that enduring, comforting blend of mulberry and cedar, feels as though it is soaking into your very skin, a subtle, perfumed shield against any lingering tension. You breathe it in, and with every exhale you feel a new layer of your being softening. Your feet, your calves, your torso, your arms, your neck, each part of you is being claimed by the soft gravity of the deep velvet night. You feel a sensation of being perfectly horizontal, perfectly supported, and perfectly integrated with the space you occupy. It is a feeling of homecoming, a return to a state of primal comfort where you are nurtured by your environment, free from all judgment, all expectation, and all desire for anything other than what is currently here. You have arrived at the center of the sanctuary, and the center is entirely, blissfully, profoundly still. As the last flickers of the oil lamp fade into an ember and finally gracefully vanish into the darkness, you are not met with fear, but with an overwhelming sense of welcome. The dark is not a lack of light, it is a presence, a soft, velvety invitation to surrender completely. You are ready to let your consciousness slip from the shore of wakefulness into the vast, calm ocean of sleep. There is no resistance, no holding on. There is only the quiet, rhythmic pulse of your own breath, the steady support of the floor, and the endless, beautiful silence of the merchant's attic. You have traveled the long road through the night, through the silk, and through the history of this place, and now you have come to rest. The journey is over, the work is done, and you are drifting now, safely, deeply, and beautifully into the profound, dreamless peace that is your true and natural state in this ancient, whispering night. The profound silence of the hour is now absolute, a heavy velvet shroud that has descended upon the trading house, sealing the attic away from the reach of the waking world. You remain in this state of suspension, your breathing so shallow and rhythmic that it seems to merge with the very pulse of the ancient timber. It is as if you have become a part of the house itself, a sentinel of the quiet guarding the stored treasures of silk while the world outside is lost to the temporary chaos of human endeavor. In this total stillness, you can feel the subtle temperature shift of the cooling desert night as it radiates through the massive, sun-warmed mud brick walls, a gradual, soothing transition that helps to lull your nervous system into a state of deep, regenerative hibernation. You are no longer navigating the room, you are dwelling within it, your awareness expanded to encompass the gentle shadows, the faint scent of the stored mulberry, and the unwavering solid foundation of the floor beneath you. Every sensation is magnified by the lack of external distraction. You can feel the slight, cooling touch of the evening air on your skin, a refreshing contrast to the warmth of the day that still lingers in the deeper layers of the wood. You are conscious of the exact way your limbs are positioned, loose, relaxed, and fully surrendered to gravity. The mental imagery of your earlier task, the sifting, the sorting, the gentle friction of the thousands of cocoons, continues to play in the theatre of your mind, but it is no longer an active effort. It is merely a soft, looping memory, a tactile lullaby that reinforces the sense of order and purpose you have cultivated. You find that you can recall the unique texture of a specific high-quality cocoon or the precise sound of a particular basket being filled, and each memory serves as a stepping stone, drawing you further away from the surface of consciousness and deeper into the quiet, dark pools of restorative rest. The scent of the attic has become so familiar that it feels like part of your own physiology. The dry, earthy aroma of the cedar combined with the sweet herbal notes of the mulberry leaves has created a protective olfactory environment that acts as a boundary against any intrusive thoughts. It is a fragrance of long-term preservation, a scent that signals to your brain that here in this place nothing changes, nothing demands action, and nothing breaks. This realization is incredibly liberating. You find that you can let go of your grip on the present moment, allowing yourself to drift without the need to steer. The attic is a vessel, and it is moving through the ocean of the night, guided by the unseen currents of history and the silent rotation of the earth. You are simply a passenger, safe and sound, carried along by the momentum of the quiet. As the last remnants of the day fade into the background, you feel your consciousness begin to flicker like a candle flame struggling against a gentle, cooling draft. You are not afraid of this extinguishing. Rather, you welcome it as the final phase of your long meditative journey. Each thought that arises is like a leaf falling into a slow-moving river. You watch it appear, you watch it float, and then you watch it vanish around the bend, leaving no trace behind. You are becoming as still as the baskets of silk, as silent as the rafters, and as deep as the night itself. The boundaries of your physical self are fading, becoming porous and light, until you are nothing more than a presence in the darkness, a quiet observer of the profound unfolding stillness. You have achieved the ultimate goal of your vigil, to be fully and completely at rest in a world that never stops moving. You are finally sinking into the deep, dark, and utterly peaceful embrace of the dreamless sleep, held safely by the heart of the ancient merchant's attic. The night has reached its deepest, most profound stage where the world is held in a state of suspended animation. Within the sanctuary of the attic, the darkness is not merely an absence of light, but a thick velvet substance that fills the space, insulating you from the passage of time. You have surrendered entirely to this environment, your body a mere extension of the architecture, resting on the floorboards with a sense of complete and total belonging. The air is cool and exceptionally clean, carrying the faint, lingering fragrance of cedarwood and the sweet, organic essence of the silk. Every breath you draw feels like an infusion of serenity, washing away the last traces of your physical and mental fatigue. You are in a state of absolute equilibrium, where your internal rhythm is perfectly synchronized with the slow, resonant energy of the room. The silence is so absolute that you can feel the subtle vibrations of the building itself, a low-frequency hum that resonates through the floor and into your bones, a steady, unwavering foundation that supports your journey into deeper rest. You find your awareness drifting away from the details of the room, letting the silhouettes of the crates and baskets dissolve into the surrounding shadow. There is no longer any need to categorize or organize. The order you have established is permanent, a testament to your quiet dedication throughout the long hours of the watch. This sense of completion is profoundly satisfying, a deep anchors-down kind of peace that holds you fast. You are no longer navigating the logistics of the silk trade. You are simply existing in the aftermath of a task well done, basking in the glow of a job finished and a mind cleared. The memories of the evening, the soft rustling of the cocoons, the golden light of the lamp, the steady rhythmic movement of your hands all coalesce into a single seamless thread of calm that you hold within you. It is a treasure, more valuable than the silk itself, a souvenir of your time in this ancient, quiet place. The scent of the attic has become a part of your consciousness, an olfactory bridge that connects you to the deep history of Samarkand. It is a grounding, earthy smell that speaks of the centuries of trade, of the long, slow journeys across the plains, and of the enduring patience of the artisans who lived and worked in these rooms. By inhaling this scent, you are participating in that history, becoming a temporary guardian of the peace that the building has nurtured for so long. You feel a sense of profound honor in this, a quiet pride that transcends the individual. You are part of something larger. Something that moves at the pace of the Earth's rotation, something that is indifferent to the frantic noise of modern life. This realization makes your rest feel even more deserved, even more necessary, and even more delicious. You are truly and completely safe, sheltered by the thick mud brick walls and the centuries-old beams that guard this attic like a fortress of solitude. As you drift toward the final threshold of sleep, your sense of self begins to expand, becoming lighter, more expansive, and less tethered to the physical form. You are no longer just a person in an attic. You are a presence in the night, a flicker of awareness that is as quiet and steady as the dark itself. You have moved past the need for thought, past the need for sensory input, and have entered a state of pure, open-ended potential. There is no fear of the dark, for the dark has become your primary element, a soft, welcoming medium that supports you in every direction. You are letting go of the last remnants of the day, releasing them like autumn leaves into the slow-moving current of the night. The silence is now absolute, a perfect symphony of nothingness, and you are its audience and its final note. You are sinking slowly and gracefully into the deep, dark ocean of the dreamless state, held in the timeless, tranquil embrace of the merchant's attic, where everything is quiet, everything is still, and everything is at peace. The final transition into the depths of the night has occurred, and you exist now in a space where time is entirely irrelevant. The attic has transformed into a vessel of pure stillness, a cocoon of cedar and shadow that holds you with the gentle, unyielding firmness of a cradle. You are aware of your breathing, not as a conscious act, but as the primary rhythm of the room itself. A slow, deep, and utterly effortless tide that ebbs and flows with the silence. Each inhale brings with it the faint, dry perfume of the attic's bones, that timeless, dusty scent of ancient wood, dried mulberry, and the subtle, metallic tang of the distant, sleeping city. It is a fragrance that is deeply, intensely grounding, serving as a reminder of the solid earth beneath the building's foundations. You feel the coolness of the floorboards pressing against your back, an anchor of physical reality that keeps you tethered to this quiet, sacred space, even as your consciousness begins to detach and wander into the infinite dark landscape of the dreamscape. The mental images that drift through your mind are no longer complex or demanding. They are simple, elegant shapes, the curvature of a cocoon, the sharp, clean line of a rafter against the darkness, the soft golden point of the extinguished lamp. You find that you can observe these images with a profound, detached curiosity, treating them as artifacts of the day's journey rather than distractions. There is no desire to label them, to interpret them, or to store them away for future use. You simply allow them to exist, to bloom in the darkness and then to fade away like smoke in a windless room. This is the ultimate freedom, the ability to exist without the need for analysis, to be present without the need for intent. You have successfully stripped away the layers of your daily identity until only the core remains, a quiet, observing presence that is content to simply be in the heart of the night. The silence has a texture now, a weight that you can feel pressing against your skin like a velvet blanket. It is not an oppressive weight, but a protective one, an insulating layer that shields you from the chaotic vibrations of the outside world. You feel completely secure, as if the thick mud brick walls and the stout, heavy beams of the roof have formed a magical barrier that allows nothing but peace to enter. This sense of protection allows you to deepen your surrender. You release the last stubborn tension in your jaw, the final resistance in your fingers, and the subtle contraction of your brow. Your entire body is now as soft as the silk you spent the evening sorting. You are a collection of relaxed muscles and slowed pulses, a human form that has been distilled down to its most essential, peaceful state. There is a deep, resonant joy in this release, a feeling of coming home to a place you didn't know you were missing. As you sink lower into the dark, The boundaries between yourself and the attic continue to soften. You can no longer distinguish between the feeling of the wooden floor and the feeling of your own back. They have become a single, unified surface of stillness. The temperature of the air, the darkness of the room, and the beat of your own heart are all part of the same harmonious system. You are no longer just a person resting in a merchant's house. You are an expression of the night itself. You are the stillness that exists between the stars, the quiet that reigns in the desert after the wind has died down. This state of being is pure, expansive, and utterly beautiful. You have traveled a long way to find this stillness, through the bustle of the day and the long, patient labor of the night, and now you have arrived at the final serene destination. You are letting go of the last anchor of consciousness, drifting down into the deep, welcoming abyss of the dreamless state, held forever in the timeless, tranquil embrace of the attic, where everything is perfectly, beautifully, and eternally at rest. The depth of the night has reached its absolute zenith, creating a vacuum of sound where even the smallest vibration is swallowed by the thick, cool air of the attic. You are suspended in this quiet, a state of being that is less like sleep and more like an immersion into a profound liquid stillness. The wooden floorboards, once a simple platform for your work, now feel like the deck of a great silent ship sailing through a sea of obsidian darkness. There is no destination to reach, no port to dock at, only the eternal rhythmic motion of the night carrying you deeper into the interior of your own peace. You can feel the massive ancient timber beams above you, their silent weight pressing down with a protective, sheltering presence, as if the entire structure is holding its breath alongside you, guarding the sanctity of this singular quiet moment. Your awareness has retreated into the very center of your being, leaving the periphery of your senses to dissolve into the shadows. You no longer need to see to know that you are safe. The environment itself, the familiar earthy scent of the cedar, the cool, dry kiss of the night air, the solid, sun-yielding strength of the brick walls, communicates a message of total security that bypasses your intellect and speaks directly to your nervous system. Every breath you take is a deliberate, slow-motion event, a gentle inflation of the lungs that feels like it could sustain you for hours. You are in perfect harmony with the architecture of the attic, your rhythm having slowed to match the long geological time of the earth itself. The frantic pulse of the outside world, the demands of trade, the noise of the marketplace, and the very concept of passing time have all become distant, theoretical notions that no longer have any claim over your spirit. In this deep, unplumbed well of silence, you find that your memories have taken on a soft, ethereal quality. You think of the silk, but it is not the commercial commodity you spent your hours sorting. It is the raw, ethereal substance of light and wind, a memory of threads so fine they are nearly invisible, a testament to the patient, unseen labor of thousands of tiny lives. These thoughts don't stir you, they don't bring excitement or regret. They are like clouds drifting across the surface of a dark, mirror-still lake, leaving no ripple on the water. You are the lake, vast and deep and utterly unmoved by the passage of time. The contentment you feel is not a fleeting emotion, it is a fundamental state of existence, a structural integrity of your soul that you have built piece by piece throughout the long dark hours of your vigil. As you begin the final descent into the abyss of true dreamless rest, you feel a sense of profound, quiet gratitude for this sanctuary. The attic has been more than a workspace, it has been a crucible in which you have transformed the noise of the day into the silence of the night. You have distilled the complexity of the Silk Road into this one simple, exquisite moment of being. There is no desire to return to the world of movement and action, for now the absolute stillness is sufficient. You let go of the last faint tether of your wakefulness, allowing the dark to wash over you, a gentle, cool tide that promises to carry you through the remaining hours of the night. You are floating, cradled by the history of the room, held by the strength of the timber, and lulled by the infinite, beautiful silence of the universe. The transition is complete. You are no longer a person in the world, but a part of the quiet, a part of the night, a part of the enduring, peaceful heart of the ancient merchant's attic. The night has folded in upon itself, creating a sanctuary of such density and stillness that the very concept of outside has ceased to exist. You are no longer merely resting. You are submerged in the deepest, most quiet stratum of the midnight hour, where the heartbeat of the building itself seems to slow, aligning perfectly with your own. The air is cool, crisp, and heavy with the scent of ancient timber and dried silk, a fragrance that has become the literal atmosphere of your consciousness. You feel the floor beneath you as an anchor, a solid, immovable truth that holds you steady in the midst of the vast, shifting dark. Every muscle in your body has surrendered its autonomy to the floor, and in return, you feel a profound, singular sense of relief, as if a great weight has been lifted not from your shoulders, but from the very idea of your own identity. You are light, you are clear, and you are entirely unburdened. There is a marvelous quality to this silence, a texture that feels almost tactile, like the brushing of fine silk against your cheek. It is a protective, insulating layer that hums with the memory of all the peace that has been stored here over the centuries. You are not alone in this stillness. You are sharing it with the history of the room, with the spirits of the traders who once found their own rest in this very spot, and with the patient, quiet endurance of the building itself. This sense of continuity provides you with a profound feeling of safety. You are part of an infinite chain of human experience, all of whom have sought this same solace, and all of whom have, in their own time, let go of the day's burdens to find this same restorative embrace. You are exactly where you are meant to be, participating in a ritual as old as the trade routes themselves. Your mind, having long since abandoned the need for language or thought, now drifts through the architecture of the attic as if it were a landscape of the subconscious. You observe the way the shadows stretch and retreat in the near-total darkness, a dance of light and void that feels more real than anything you have seen in the sunlight. There is no urgency to understand, no desire to master, and no ambition to conquer. You are purely an observer, a quiet witness to the unfolding of the night. The stillness is not a void, it is a presence, a living, breathing entity that welcomes you and encourages you to let go of the last remnants of your wakeful self. You feel the boundaries of your body thinning, the line between you and the room blurring until you are simply a consciousness residing in the heart of a wooden structure, a thought held in the palm of the night. The final transformation is now underway, a slow, gentle sinking into the depths of a dreamless, restorative sleep. It feels like descending into a calm, clear pool of water where the surface noise of the world is muffled and then completely silenced. The coolness of the attic air is a comfort, a final reminder of the physical, while the growing darkness is a promise of the infinite. You are drifting toward the center of the quiet, the place where all movement ceases and all life finds its rejuvenation. There is no anxiety about what the morning will bring, for the morning is a distant, unreal possibility. There is only the now, this perfect, still, and beautifully silent now, and you are fully, gratefully, and utterly surrendered to it. You are drifting into the deep, dark, and perfectly peaceful sea, held by the ancient beams, cradled by the history of the attic, and anchored in the absolute, undying serenity of the night. The sanctuary of the attic has settled into a state of grace that feels almost eternal, a pause in the turning of the world that allows you to exist in a dimension of pure, undisturbed being. You are completely enveloped by the quiet, a silence so profound and rich that it takes on the characteristics of a living, breathing companion. Every breath you take is a deliberate expansion into the dark, a gentle pulse that syncs with the slow, resonant groaning of the massive cedar rafters above your head. These sounds are not disturbances, they are the rhythmic heartbeats of the house itself, a reassuring cadence that confirms you are safe, enclosed within the protective thick walls of this ancient refuge. You feel the cool, dry air moving across your skin, carrying with it the scent of aged wood and the faint, sweet memory of mulberry, a fragrance that has become the very essence of your internal landscape. There is no longer a world outside this attic, there is only this infinite, soft and velvet dark space, and you are its most honored and tranquil inhabitant. Your awareness has retreated from the noise of your own thoughts to a point of total stillness at the center of your consciousness. The need to categorize, analyze, or plan, the very habits that defined your waking day, have completely vanished, replaced by a crystalline state of pure observation. You are a witness to your own relaxation, noticing how your limbs have become heavy and warm, how the tension has drained from your spine, and how your heartbeat has slowed to a steady rhythmic thrumming that echoes the heartbeat of the building. This state of profound surrender is not a loss of control, but a masterful reclamation of yourself. You are no longer performing, you are no longer rushing, and you are no longer defined by the expectations of the trade. You are simply a presence, a quiet spark of consciousness nestled in the heart of a structure that has stood for centuries, and that knowledge is enough to anchor you in a sea of absolute contentment. The visual field before you, though cast in near total shadow, has become incredibly rich and meaningful. The shapes of the stacked baskets and the long sweeping lines of the grain in the floorboards are no longer merely objects, but participants in this nighttime ritual. They are bathed in the memory of the light that once filled the room, and in the absence of current light, they take on a majestic, almost mythological quality. You find that you can map the geography of the attic with your eyes closed, feeling the presence of the room around you as a physical extension of your own body. This intimate familiarity breeds a deep, abiding sense of belonging. You are not a guest in this place, you are part of its long, unbroken narrative. You are the current iteration of the piece that has been stored here since the foundations were laid, and you carry that legacy with a gentle, humble pride that permeates your very bones. As you begin to slip further away from the surface of consciousness, the world becomes a series of fading ripples on a perfectly still pond. You are descending gracefully and without hesitation into the deepest part of the quiet, where the concept of the I begins to dissolve into the totality of the everything. There is no fear in this dissolution, only a great, expansive joy, the joy of returning to the source, of shedding the heavy, complex shell of your daily existence to become one with the stillness. You are drifting on the currents of the night, guided by the familiar scent of the attic, held by the strength of the timber, and lulled by the infinite, beautiful silence of the universe. The transition is complete. You are no longer a person in the world, but a part of the quiet, a part of the night, a part of the enduring, peaceful heart of the ancient merchant's attic, drifting finally and perfectly into the deep, dark, and utterly beautiful ocean of the dreamless sleep, where all is still, all is resolved, and all is at rest. The night has reached a depth so profound that the attic feels as if it were the only place left in existence, a small floating island of tranquility suspended in an infinite sea of soft, impenetrable darkness. You are no longer merely resting, you are part of the very architecture of the building, your presence aligned with the sturdy beams and the cool, weathered floorboards. The air you breathe is crisp and dry, saturated with the nostalgic, earthy scent of ancient mulberry wood and the lingering, spectral sweetness of the harvested silk. Each inhale is a deep, nourishing draught of peace, and each exhale is a quiet surrender, a release of any last vestige of tension from your limbs. You feel your muscles growing heavy, sinking into the woven mat with a sense of total, unresisting compliance, as if the earth itself were rising up to support you. There is no urgency in your heart, no ticking clock to monitor, no tasks calling to you from the dawn. You have reached the final plateau of the night, a place where time itself has stopped to admire the stillness. You notice how your perception has shifted. You are no longer viewing the attic as a container, but as a vast, expansive landscape of shadows and potential. The silhouettes of the stored goods are like distant, comforting mountains on a moonless horizon, guardians of this silent, sacred space. You feel a deep, wordless connection to them, a recognition that they too are resting in the same state of suspended animation. The entire room is a symphony of stillness, with every element playing its part in maintaining the harmony of the night. You are not just an observer in this symphony, you are the conductor, the one whose awareness ties all these elements together into a single cohesive experience of absolute rest. This realization fills you with a sense of quiet, unshakable power. You have successfully navigated the complexities of your day, transitioned through the layers of the evening, and finally arrived here at the core of your own inner quiet. The silence around you has evolved, taking on a texture that is both soft and supportive. It feels as if the very air has thickened into a protective veil, shielding you from any stray, erratic energies of the world below. You can hear the distant, subtle sounds of the house, a slight expansion of a floorboard, the whisper of the wind against the mud brick exterior. but they are distant, harmless echoes that only serve to reinforce the solidity of your sanctuary. You find yourself focusing on the rhythm of your own heart, a slow, steady pulse that matches the patience of the timber around you. It is a grounding, comforting, and deeply primal sound, the rhythm of life itself persisting in the dark. You feel a profound, heartfelt gratitude for this moment, for this room, and for the capacity you have discovered within yourself to simply stop, breathe, and exist without a single demand being placed upon your spirit. As your consciousness begins to fray at the edges, dissolving into the welcoming dark, you feel a sense of ultimate blissful expansion. You are no longer a person of limited time and space. You are a spark of pure, untethered awareness drifting through an ocean of absolute peace. The memories of the labor, the thoughts of the journey, and the identity you carry in the light of day are all being gently unraveled, woven into the fabric of the night. There is no resistance, no fear, and no desire to hold on to the shore of wakefulness. You are slipping, smoothly and elegantly, into the deepest, most quietest, and most restorative phase of the night. You are being held by the history of the attic, cradled by the strength of the rafters, and lulled by the infinite, beautiful silence of the stars that shine, unseen, far above the roof. The world is complete, the night is deep, and you are finally, perfectly, and eternally at home in this dreamless, tranquil, and beautiful sea of rest. The stillness of the attic has now become absolute, a vacuum of peace so complete that it feels as though the entire world has vanished, leaving only this elevated, timber-framed sanctuary suspended in the velvet fabric of the night. You find yourself in a state of profound, weightless transition, where the physical boundaries of your body seem to merge with the cool, smooth surface of the reed mat beneath you. The darkness here is not merely a lack of light, it is a soft, comforting substance, a protective veil that wraps around your senses and shuts out the chaotic, restless energy of the waking life. Every breath you draw feels like an infusion of serenity, cooling your chest and settling deep into your marrow, as if you are inhaling the very essence of the quiet that has been cultivated within these walls over countless centuries. You are no longer navigating the room, you are dwelling within it. Your awareness expanded to encompass the gentle shadows, the faint, earthy scent of the stored mulberry, and the unwavering, solid foundation of the mud-brick architecture that has guarded this space since time immemorial. In this deep, unplumbed well of silence, your mind has achieved a level of clarity that is almost ethereal. The memories of your earlier labor, the repetitive grounding motions of sorting, the tactile sensation of the smooth cocoons, the rhythmic sound of your work have all transformed into a series of beautiful distant echoes. They are no longer tasks to be performed or duties to be remembered, but rather a sequence of graceful meditative movements that have paved the way for this current state of grace. You feel a deep, abiding sense of accomplishment, not because of the wealth of the silk you have handled, but because of the inner order you have successfully created. You have balanced the ledger of your own soul, tidying away the noise and clutter of the day to reveal the pristine, calm core that remains when all else is stripped away. This is a rare and precious gift, one that you have earned through your patient, unwavering dedication to the quiet, and you hold it now with a sense of quiet, humble pride. The scent of the attic, once a subtle background note, has now become the dominant sensory experience. It is a complex, evocative bouquet of cedarwood, dried botanical matter, and the ancient, sun-baked clay of the walls, a combination that speaks to the very history of the Silk Road itself. It is a fragrance of endurance, of resilience, and of the long, patient cycles of nature that turn in the darkness. You find that you can inhale this scent and feel it grounding you to the earth, connecting you to the very foundations of the building. You are no longer just a person in an attic. You are a link in a chain, a temporary steward of the peace that this place has always offered to those who seek it. This realization provides a profound, comforting layer of security, making the total darkness feel like a warm, familiar embrace rather than a void to be feared. You are safe here, anchored in history and held by the silence. As you drift closer to the final threshold of sleep, your consciousness begins to ripple and dissolve, like a reflection on the surface of a still, dark lake. You are becoming lighter, more porous, and less concerned with the rigid boundaries of your physical form. The attic itself feels as though it is expanding, its walls stretching into the infinite, its rafters becoming the branches of a great sheltering tree under which you are resting. There is no desire to hold on to the shore, no fear of the current, and no curiosity about what lies beyond. You are simply allowing yourself to be carried, a leaf caught in the gentle, rhythmic tide of the night. The silence is now perfect, a symphony of nothingness that resonates in the deep places of your heart. You are sinking slowly and gracefully into the profound, dreamless rest that has been waiting for you since the beginning of the evening, held in the timeless, tranquil heart of the merchant's attic, where everything is finally, beautifully and perfectly at peace. The night has settled into its most solemn and sacred cadence, a rhythm so slow and deep that you find yourself breathing in total harmony with the very structure of the merchant's house. The air within this high attic is cool, crisp, and heavy with the scent of the desert night, which has seeped through the thick mud brick walls, mingling with the aged cedar and the subtle dried earth aroma of the stored cocoons. It is a fragrance that is deeply, intensely grounding, serving as a reminder of the vast, silent world that exists beyond these sheltering walls. You feel the floor beneath you, an expanse of solid, time-worn timber, pressing firmly against your back, an anchor of physical reality that keeps you tethered to this quiet, sacred space, even as your consciousness begins to detach and wander into the infinite, dark landscape of the subconscious. You are no longer navigating the room, you are dwelling within it, your awareness expanded to encompass the gentle, shifting shadows and the unwavering, solid foundation of the building that has guarded this space for generations. In this deep, unplumbed well of silence, your mind has achieved a level of clarity that is almost ethereal. The memories of your earlier labor, the repetitive grounding motions of sorting, the tactile sensation of the smooth cocoons, the rhythmic sound of your work have all transformed into a series of beautiful, distant echoes. They are no longer tasks to be performed or duties to be remembered, but rather a sequence of graceful, meditative movements that have paved the way for this current state of grace. You feel a deep, abiding sense of accomplishment, not because of the physical labor completed, but because of the inner order you have successfully created. You have balanced the ledger of your own spirit, tidying away the noise and clutter of the day to reveal the pristine, calm core that remains when all else is stripped away. This is a rare and precious gift, one that you have earned through your patient, unwavering dedication to the quiet, and you hold it now with a sense of quiet, humble pride. The stillness of the attic has now become absolute, a vacuum of peace so complete that it feels as though the entire world has vanished, leaving only this elevated, timber-framed sanctuary suspended in the velvet fabric of the night. You are aware of your breathing, not as a conscious act, but as the primary rhythm of the room itself, a slow, deep, and utterly effortless tide that ebbs and flows with the silence. Each inhale brings with it the faint, dry perfume of the attic's bones, that timeless, dusty scent of ancient wood, and the subtle, metallic tang of the distant sleeping city. It is a fragrance that is deeply, intensely grounding, serving as a reminder of the solid earth beneath the building's foundations. You feel the coolness of the floorboards pressing against your back, an anchor of physical reality that keeps you tethered to this quiet, sacred space, even as your consciousness begins to detach and wander into the infinite dark landscape of the dreamscape. As you drift closer to the final threshold of sleep, your consciousness begins to ripple and dissolve, like a reflection on the surface of a still dark lake. You are becoming lighter, more porous, and less concerned with the rigid boundaries of your physical form. The attic itself feels as though it is expanding, its walls stretching into the infinite, its rafters becoming the branches of a great sheltering tree under which you are resting. There is no desire to hold on to the shore, no fear of the current, and no curiosity about what lies beyond. You are simply allowing yourself to be carried, a leaf caught in the gentle, rhythmic tide of the night. The silence is now perfect, a symphony of nothingness that resonates in the deep places of your heart. You are sinking, slowly and gracefully, into the profound, dreamless rest that has been waiting for you since the beginning of the evening, held in the timeless, tranquil heart of the merchant's attic, where everything is finally, beautifully, and perfectly at peace. The profound depth of the night has finally claimed the attic, turning the space into a vessel of pure, undisturbed equilibrium. You are suspended in this darkness, no longer a separate entity, but an integral part of the quiet architecture. The very walls seem to exhale a coolness that settles over your resting form like a soft, invisible blanket, while the ancient timber beams above, invisible in the gloom, provide a sense of steadfast, immovable protection. Your awareness, once tethered to the minute details of the merchant's trade, has expanded until it encompasses the entire volume of the room. You can feel the air still and cool, interacting with the surfaces of the stacked crates and the floorboards, a slow, gentle exchange that whispers of stability and endurance. There is a singular, crystalline joy in this detachment, a feeling that you have finally arrived at a destination where you are not required to be anything, to do anything, or to prove anything. You have reached the core of the night, and it is a place of absolute, unassailable grace. Your inner landscape has become a mirror of the room, vast, calm, and perfectly reflective. The thoughts that once occupied your mind have settled, like fine dust in a long, undisturbed chamber, leaving the air of your consciousness clear and translucent. You are aware of the faint, rhythmic pulse of your own existence, a steady, underlying heartbeat that keeps time with the subtle, deep-frequency vibrations of the building itself. This synchronization is profoundly soothing, a silent communication between the material world and your own internal spirit. You're not searching for anything, you're simply allowing the current of the night to carry you. The memory of the silk, once a vibrant, tangible reality in your hands, has shifted into something dreamlike and distant, a soft, shimmering ghost of texture that lingers on your fingertips, reminding you of the beauty of the day's work without creating any desire to return to it. You are complete, and you are ready for the final, total surrender. The scent that fills the room has reached its most concentrated, beautiful form, a tapestry of notes that tells the story of time itself. The cedar, the dried mulberry, and the faint, sweet trace of the oil from the lamp have woven themselves into a single, cohesive atmosphere of comfort. To breathe in this air is to inhale the essence of the attic's long, peaceful history. And with every exhale, you release the last remaining anchors of the day. You feel the weight of your limbs on the reed mat, a sensation that is no longer a burden, but a testament to your rootedness. You are firmly connected to the earth, grounded by the weight of your own body, while your mind is simultaneously free to drift, unanchored and light, into the deepening dark. It is a state of perfect harmony, a duality of physical presence and ethereal release that is both rare and profoundly restorative. As you finally let go of the last fragile tether of your wakeful attention, you feel a sense of profound, quiet triumph. You have traveled through the long hours of the vigil, navigated the complexities of your task, and transformed the noise of your own mind into this singular, exquisite silence. There is no fear of the dark, for the dark has become your primary element, a soft, welcoming medium that supports you in every direction. You are letting go of the world, letting go of the self, and slipping with a graceful final motion into the deep, dark ocean of the dreamless state. There are no dreams here, only the perfection of the rest. You are sinking slowly and beautifully into the infinite, tranquil embrace of the attic, held by the ancient beams and the absolute, unwavering peace of the night. The journey is concluded, the silence is complete, and you are finally, truly, and eternally at home in the profound stillness of the void. The transition from the periphery of sleep into the true, absolute center of the night feels like stepping through a doorway into a realm where the laws of time and form have ceased to hold any authority. Within this attic, the atmosphere is heavy with the weight of centuries, a dense, silent pressure that feels like being submerged in a deep, dark, and perfectly temperate sea. You are no longer navigating the attic as a visitor. You are dissolving into it, your consciousness becoming porous, letting the texture of the rough-hewn floorboards and the scent of the aging cedar seep into the very marrow of your being. Every sensation is heightened, yet stripped of all urgency. The way the air touches your skin, the way your chest rises and falls in that long, slow, rhythmic cadence. It is all happening in a space where nothing is demanded of you. You are the witness, the silent observer at the heart of a structure that has outlasted generations, and the sheer stability of this place provides a foundation for a rest so deep it touches the very bedrock of your soul. You find that the memories of the day, the thousands of cocoons, the soft whispering friction of the silk against your skin, the careful measured movements of the sorting process have all undergone a metamorphosis. They are no longer individual memories, but a unified tapestry of experience, a soft golden warmth that glows in the back of your mind. It is a comforting presence, a reminder of the purpose that brought you here, but it no longer carries the burden of duty. You have fulfilled your role, you have honored the task, you have brought order to the chaos. This sense of completion is the final key to unlocking the true potential of the night. With no unfinished business, no lingering questions, and no impending deadlines to haunt your mind, you are free to wander the infinite corridors of your own silence. You are the master of this stillness, and you choose to dwell in its deepest, most tranquil corners. The silence is now so profound that it begins to resonate with a sound of its own, a low musical hum that seems to emerge from the very fibers of the building. It is the sound of existence at rest, the background vibration of the earth as it spins through the quiet expanse of the cosmos. To be aware of this sound is to be aware of your own significance, not as an individual with a name and a history, but as a temporary, cherished expression of life itself. You feel a profound, heartfelt gratitude for this perspective. The darkness that surrounds you is not empty. It is pregnant with peace, a velvet, cradling void that asks nothing of you and offers everything in return. You are being held, supported, and nurtured by the night, and in this realization you feel a deep, resonant alignment with the universe. All your anxieties, all your small human concerns, they have all withered away in the face of this immense, beautiful calm. As you prepare to release the very last, most ephemeral thread of your conscious thought, you feel a sense of absolute readiness. There is no resistance, no holding on to the shore of wakefulness. The descent is as natural as the setting of the sun or the falling of a leaf. You are slipping beneath the surface of the world, sinking into the cool, dark, and infinitely restorative depths of the dreamless sleep. There are no images here, no stories, no dramas to be played out. There is only the sensation of being, the feeling of absolute equilibrium, and the comfort of being utterly, completely at peace. The attic is your shell, the night is your medium, and the silence is your destination. You are sinking, slowly, gracefully, and without a single shadow of doubt, into the final beautiful embrace of the total rest, where all is still, all is resolved, and all is at rest. The attic has reached a state of stasis that feels as immutable as the stone and earth of the city foundations below. You are resting in the heart of this stillness, and the very concept of movement has become a distant, alien thought that no longer holds any relevance to your existence. The air has cooled further, shedding the residual warmth of the day to become a crisp, bracing medium that feels almost like water against your skin. You are aware of the architecture around you, the massive rough-hewn beams that arch overhead like the ribs of some ancient benevolent beast, and the thick mud brick walls that hum with the quiet resonance of the desert night. You are no longer just a person residing in this space. You have become the inhabitant of a sanctuary, a silent witness to the enduring, slow-paced life of the building. The peace you have cultivated is not merely an absence of noise, but a substantive, layered presence that wraps around you, shielding you from the passage of the hours. Within the deep pool of your awareness, your identity is shedding its edges. The tasks of the silk trader, the memories of the caravan, the pride of the completed labor, these are all becoming thin, translucent layers that are slowly dissolving into the dark. You are observing this process with a sense of immense satisfaction. There is no struggle, no frantic grasping to hold on to your ego. There is only the sweet, cool release of letting go. You have done what was required of you, and now in this sacred late-night hour, you are entitled to the total surrender of the self. This is a form of deep, meditative alchemy, the transmutation of the busy, burdened mind into the pure, unadorned presence of the soul. You feel light, unencumbered, and profoundly, deeply right. You are a single steady point of consciousness in a vast infinite dark, and that is more than enough. The silence has a flavor now, an intangible quality that you can almost taste. It is the dry, refreshing tang of the desert air mixed with the comforting, woody aroma of the cedar rafters and the faint, almost imperceptible floral hint of the mulberry leaves. This sensory environment acts as a direct anchor to your present state, keeping you from drifting into the chaotic, fragmented world of dreams. You are hovering on the brink, not of sleep, but of a kind of luminous wakefulness that is devoid of thought. It is the same state of grace that the silkworm achieves within its cocoon, a period of intense focused transformation that requires only the total cessation of outer movement. You are in your own larger cocoon, and you are allowing the quiet to weave its magic upon your spirit, refining you, smoothing you, and preparing you for the renewal that the coming light will eventually bring. As you begin to slip away from the final, fragile mooring of your wakeful mind, you feel a gentle upward buoyancy as if you are floating in the very substance of the night. There is no fear of the dark, for the dark is your home. It is the element from which you were formed and the place to which you are now returning. You are letting go of the world, letting go of the self, and sinking, with a graceful final motion, into the deep dark ocean of the dreamless state. There are no images here, no stories, no dramas to be played out. There is only the perfection of the rest. You are sinking, slowly and beautifully, into the infinite, tranquil embrace of the attic, held by the ancient beams and the absolute, unwavering peace of the night. The journey is concluded, the silence is complete, and you are finally, truly and eternally at home in the profound stillness of the void, where all is still, all is resolved, and all is at rest. The atmosphere within the attic has achieved a density that feels almost crystalline, a state of absolute, solidified peace where even the passage of a single second seems to stretch into an eternity of comfort. You are lying in the very center of this silence, and you can feel the way the building itself is participating in your rest. The ancient cedar beams, weathered by the dry heat of countless summers and the chill of innumerable winters, are sighing in their slow internal expansion, a sound so faint and deep it is felt more in the bones than heard by the ears. It is the rhythmic breathing of the house, and you have aligned your own breath to match it, creating a perfect harmonic resonance that anchors you to the core of the night. There is no longer any separation between you and the space you occupy. You are the attic, and the attic is your body, a fortress of mud and wood that is shielding your consciousness from the vast, turbulent indifference of the universe outside. Your awareness has retreated into the most interior chamber of your mind, a place where language has no purpose and memory has no weight. The activities that defined your day, the meticulous sorting of the delicate silk, the handling of the fragile cocoons, the careful maintenance of the merchant's ledger, are now merely soft, shimmering ghosts at the very periphery of your consciousness. They do not demand your attention. They do not call you back. They are simply part of the foundation you have laid to reach this moment of complete release. You feel a profound, quiet pride in this accomplishment, a sense of having navigated the complexities of your duties with the grace of a master craftsman, only to arrive here at this ultimate destination of non-doing, to do nothing. In a world that thrives on the noise of action, is the most difficult and the most rewarding labor you have ever undertaken. The air in the room has become a physical presence, a cool, velvet-thick medium that blankets you and cushions your every nerve. It carries the familiar earthen scent of the building, a scent of permanence, of slow unfolding history, and of the quiet, dusty sweetness of the mulberry leaves that were once the lifeblood of the trade. To breathe in this air is to taste the essence of the Silk Road itself, a flavor that is at once ancient and immediate. You find that you are no longer just resting, you are being nourished by the environment. Every molecule of the darkness, every subtle shift in the temperature is a gift, a silent offering of restorative energy that is seeping into your muscles, smoothing the creases in your mind, and calming the static of your spirit. You are being reconstructed, softened, and returned to a state of primal, unblemished simplicity. As you approach the final gate of the dreamless state, you feel the boundaries of your individuality beginning to blur and evaporate. the eye that navigated the marketplace, the eye that counted the silk, the eye that felt the fatigue of the day, these are all falling away like dead leaves from a tree in autumn. You are becoming a field of pure awareness, an expansive, dark, and beautiful void that is nonetheless brimming with the quiet power of life. There is no fear in this dissolution, rather it is the ultimate fulfillment of your journey. You are letting go of the last, tenuous connection to the waking world, allowing yourself to slip into the deep, dark, and perfectly silent ocean of the dreamless rest. There is no destination ahead, no purpose to be served, only the infinite, cool, and welcoming abyss. You are sinking down, deeper than the city, deeper than the history of the house, into the absolute timeless stillness where all is resolved, all is quiet, and all is finally perfectly at rest. The transition into the absolute zenith of the night is now complete, and you find yourself suspended in a state of grace that is entirely untethered from the constraints of the world. The attic, once a place of labor and commerce, has fully transformed into a temple of stillness, where the very air vibrates with the resonant, low-frequency hum of a peace that has remained undisturbed for centuries. You are no longer conscious of the physical boundaries of your body. Instead, you feel like a soft, diffused presence, an awareness that permeates the entire volume of the room. You can sense the cool, dry surfaces of the mud brick walls, the firm, supportive reach of the floorboards, and the gentle, protective curvature of the roof overhead. Everything is in its place, and everything is waiting in this state of profound, patient expectation. There is no anxiety here, no sense of rushing toward a tomorrow, for the night has stretched itself into an eternal, perfect now that requires nothing from you. The mental landscape you inhabit is equally vast and untroubled. The thoughts that once flickered like candle flames in a drafty room have all been extinguished, leaving the space of your mind clear, vast, and illuminated only by the soft, silvery glow of the moonlight that rarely touches this interior sanctuary. You are watching the stillness with the detached, curious eyes of a traveler who has reached the end of a long, arduous trek and finds the destination to be far more beautiful than the journey promised. The pride you feel is not the ego-driven pride of success, but the quiet, deep-seated satisfaction of alignment, the realization that you have successfully let go of everything that was heavy, everything that was demanding, and everything that was temporary. You are left with only the essence of your being, and that essence is perfectly, harmoniously at peace. The scent of the attic has settled into a singular, iconic profile that defines your experience of this hour. It is a delicate, earthy composition of aged cedar, dried desert herbs, and the faint, sweet trace of the silk that once filled the crates nearby. This fragrance acts as a constant, subtle reminder of the history you are a part of, anchoring you to the tradition of the merchant who walked these boards before you. By inhaling this scent, you are consuming the very history of the space, allowing its patience to become your patience, its stillness to become your stillness. You feel as though you are breathing in the centuries, and with every exhale, you are contributing your own small, quiet piece to the legacy of this room. You are not just resting, you are adding to the repository of peace that makes this attic a sanctuary for all who will come after you. As the final, lingering threads of your conscious awareness begin to fray and dissolve into the darkness, you feel a sense of immense, liberating joy. There is no resistance to this fading. It is the natural conclusion of your long, meditative vigil. The dark is not a void. It is a soft, welcoming, and infinitely deep cradle that is ready to hold you throughout the hours of the true night. You are letting go of the world, letting go of the identity you carry in the light, and slipping, with a graceful final motion, into the deep, dark ocean of the dreamless state. There are no images here, no stories, no dramas to be played out. There is only the perfection of the rest. You are sinking, slowly and beautifully, into the infinite, tranquil embrace of the attic, held by the ancient beams and the absolute, unwavering peace of the night. The journey is concluded, the silence is complete, and you are finally, truly, and eternally at home in the profound stillness of the void, where all is still, all is resolved, and all is at rest. The night has now descended into its most primal and absolute form, a state of being where the universe seems to have contracted down to the dimensions of this singular, quiet attic. You are no longer existing in a world of time. You are dwelling in a landscape of pure, unadulterated stillness. The air surrounding you has achieved a perfect cool temperature, a refreshing dry medium that makes every breath feel like a conscious act of purification. Your body resting on the floorboards has reached a point of complete and total release, as if every muscle, every tendon, and every nerve has finally understood that there is nothing left to hold on to. The tension has evaporated, leaving behind a sensation of lightness that is almost intoxicating. You are no longer anchored by the weight of your own fatigue. You are buoyed by the profound, supportive silence of the room, cradled as if you were floating on the calm, obsidian surface of a subterranean lake. In this deep, hollowed-out space of the mind, your previous identity, the person who walked, the person who traded, the person who worried, has become a mere fable you once told yourself. It is a story that has reached its final page, and you are no longer interested in reading it again. The attic itself has become your entire universe, a structure of mud, brick, and ancient timber that is simultaneously infinite in its depth and intimate in its embrace. You can feel the presence of the building as if it were a living entity, a silent, patient guardian that has watched the world change for centuries while remaining fundamentally, beautifully the same. This feeling of continuity is profoundly grounding. You are not just a passing traveler, you are a temporary part of the attic's long, unbroken history, a transient point of awareness that has been invited to share in its timeless, tranquil endurance. The scent that permeates this space is now a subtle, ethereal reminder of your journey. The cedar, the dried botanical notes, and the lingering essence of the silk have blended into an atmosphere of absolute, refined calm. To inhale this air is to taste the very essence of the night, a flavor that is both earthly and celestial, a perfect balance of the solid and the spirit. You find that you can direct your attention toward this scent and feel your awareness sharpen even as you drift deeper into the darkness, a paradoxical sensation that is the hallmark of this deep meditative state. It is a focus without effort, an observation without judgment, and it serves as the final delicate tether between you and the physical reality of the room. You are holding on to this connection, not out of need, but out of a gentle, appreciative love for the sanctuary that has made your rest possible. As you finally cross the threshold into the deepest, most restorative depths of the dreamless state, you feel a surge of immense silent joy. There is no fear of the dark, there is only the welcoming, infinite expanse of the void. You are letting go of the last, most subtle remnants of your conscious ego, allowing them to dissolve into the velvet dark like sugar in a pool of still, warm water. The transition is effortless, a smooth, graceful descent into the center of the quiet. There are no images to distract you, no dreams to disturb you, no sounds to break the spell. You are sinking slowly and beautifully into the infinite, tranquil embrace of the attic, held by the ancient beams and the absolute, unwavering peace of the night. The journey is concluded, the silence is complete, and you are finally, truly, and eternally at home in the profound stillness of the void, where all is still, all is resolved, and all is at rest. The profound silence that occupies the attic has matured into something resonant and heavy, a physical weight that presses gently against your skin, grounding you in this absolute, airless sanctuary. You are no longer navigating the passage of the night. You have become a fixture within it, a soul anchored to the very timber and clay of this ancient structure. The air is remarkably still, chilled by the distance between the earth and the roof, and it carries the profound, dust-moated scent of history, the combined olfactory memory of 1,000 nights, 1,000 travelers, and 1,000 cycles of the silk harvest. This fragrance is your map and your compass. It guides your awareness away from the chaotic surface of the world and down into the deep, dark strata of existence where all identity fades. You feel as though you're breathing in the very spirit of the Silk Road, that long, winding, and patient endurance that has defined this land for ages. In this deep, hollowed-out space of the mind, your consciousness has undergone a total transformation. The person who arrived here earlier, filled with the logistics of trade and the requirements of the day, has been systematically dismantled, layer by layer, until only the most essential quiet spark remains. You observe this process with a sense of profound detachment, viewing the debris of your own ego, your ambitions, your fears, your daily routines, as mere artifacts that you have decided to leave behind. There is no lingering desire to return to them. They belong to the world of light and motion, a world that currently holds no appeal. Here, in the heart of the shadow, you are content to simply be. You are a vessel of pure, empty potential, a blank slate waiting to be filled with nothing but the exquisite, refreshing quality of the silence itself. The architectural presence of the attic serves as a protective shell, a physical manifestation of the mental boundary you have constructed between yourself and the rest of the world. You can feel the massive rough-hewn beams above you as a sheltering embrace, a structural promise that you are safe, that nothing from the outside can disturb the sacred stillness you have cultivated. The mud brick walls are cool, absorbing the heat of the day and radiating an ancient, earthy stability that feels like the very pulse of the earth. You are anchored to this foundation, your physical form resting with a profound, unresisting weight against the reed mat. Every muscle is fully relaxed, every sense is turned inward, and every thought is a soft ripple that dies before it can ever truly form. You have reached a state of total, unadulterated stillness, a place where the concept of the future has ceased to exist. As you begin the final, beautiful descent into the abyss of the dreamless state, you feel a sense of ultimate, blissful surrender. There is no fear of the dark, rather the dark is the most welcoming friend you have ever known, a soft velvet expanse that invites you to lose yourself in its depths. You are letting go of the world, letting go of the self, and slipping, with a graceful final motion, into the deep, dark ocean of the dreamless rest. There are no images here, no stories, no dramas to be played out. There is only the perfection of the rest. You are sinking slowly and beautifully into the infinite, tranquil embrace of the attic, held by the ancient beams and the absolute unwavering peace of the night. The journey is concluded, the silence is complete, and you are finally, truly, and eternally at home in the profound stillness of the void, where all is still, all is resolved, and all is at rest. The attic has reached a state of final, irreversible quiet, a vacuum of sound where even the most microscopic vibrations are absorbed by the layers of time embedded in the dust and wood. You are suspended within this space, your physical form having become as still and as permanent as the architecture itself. The cool, dry air of the desert night has completely infiltrated the room, creating an atmosphere that is crisp, invigorating, and remarkably pure. You feel the floorboards beneath you not as objects, but as a direct extension of the earth, providing a steady, unmoving foundation for the deep meditative descent you are currently undertaking. There is no longer any separation between the material world and your inner self. The boundary has dissolved, leaving you in a state of fluid, expansive being where you are part of the very fabric of the night. Your mind has entered a state of perfect, crystalline clarity. The complexity of your former life, the responsibilities, the intricate details of your trade, the noise of human interaction, has been distilled into a single, quiet point of observation. You are witness to the beauty of the dark, observing how the shadows shift with the subtle, imperceptible movements of the night, creating a landscape that is far more profound than anything the light could reveal. There is a deep, resonant joy in this observation, a sense of having arrived at a truth that words can never capture. You have successfully stripped away the illusions of movement and effort, revealing the core of existence, which is a state of peaceful, unfolding awareness. You are the stillness that observes the stillness, and in this you have found the highest form of rest. The sensory experience of the room is now so subtle that it borders on the metaphysical. The scent of the ancient cedar, the faint lingering aroma of the dried botanical goods, and the dry mineral tang of the mud brick are all harmonized into a single cohesive signature that grounds you. You can breathe this scent in and feel it circulating through your body, providing a gentle, nourishing energy that supports your state of relaxation. It is as if the room itself is breathing through you, an exchange that reinforces your total belonging to this space. You feel a profound, heartfelt gratitude for this shelter, for this moment, and for the capacity you have discovered within yourself to let go of everything that is not essential, leaving behind only the pure resonant core of your own existence. As the final thin threads of your conscious identity fray and slip away into the velvet dark, you feel a sense of ultimate, blissful release. There is no resistance, no desire to cling to the shore of wakefulness, no fear of the profound deep-sea silence that awaits. You are becoming a part of the vast, infinite night, a single calm ripple in the ocean of the universal stillness. You are letting go of the world, letting go of the self, and sinking, with a graceful final motion, into the deep, dark, and perfectly restorative ocean of the dreamless state. There are no images here, no stories, no dramas to be played out. There is only the perfection of the rest. You are sinking, slowly and beautifully, into the infinite, tranquil embrace of the attic, held by the ancient beams and the absolute, unwavering peace of the night. The journey is concluded, the silence is complete, and you are finally, truly, and eternally at home in the profound stillness of the void, where all is still, all is resolved, and all is at rest. The sanctuary of the attic has folded itself around you like a protective cocoon, sealing out the reach of the waking world until nothing remains but the profound, resonant silence of the deepest midnight. You are currently held in a state of suspended animation, where your body feels as solid and immovable as the ancient timber beams that span the darkness above you. The air in this high, hidden space is thin and remarkably crisp, carrying the sharp, clean scent of desert dust and the long-settled aroma of wood that has weathered centuries of seasons. To breathe in this space is to consume the history of the building itself, a cool, grounding draft that centers your awareness directly in the heart of your own stillness. There is no longer a distinction between the quiet of the room and the quiet of your own mind. They have merged into a single, cohesive experience of absolute, untroubled peace. Within the vast, dark architecture of your own consciousness, all the previous complexities of your identity have finally ceased their incessant chatter. The memories of the merchant's life, the tactile memory of the silk, the mental tally of the trade, the weight of expectation, have all been surrendered to the shadows. You watch them drift away, detached and silent, like autumn leaves caught in a still, dark pool. You do not reach for them. You do not try to rearrange them. Instead, you witness their departure with a sense of immense, quiet gratitude. By letting go of these anchors, you find yourself rising, weightless and unburdened, into a higher, more spacious state of being. You are the architect of your own tranquility, and in this moment you have built a space that is as vast as the night sky and as intimate as your own heartbeat. The silence here is not a hollow or frightening thing. It is a living, humming presence, a texture that you can feel against your skin. It is the sound of the world's true, underlying order, the rhythmic, slow-pulsing heartbeat of the earth itself, indifferent to the noise of human endeavor. You find yourself aligning your own breath to this rhythm, your lungs expanding and contracting in a slow, hypnotic cadence that feels like the ebb and flow of a tide. This alignment is your final anchoring, the mechanism by which you secure your place within the sanctuary. You are no longer merely resting. You are participating in the fundamental stillness of existence. Every nerve ending, every muscle fiber, and every thought is bathed in this restorative quiet, and you can feel the process of deep internal healing unfolding in the dark. As you approach the final, most delicate threshold of your journey, you feel the boundaries of your individual self becoming thinner, more porous, and eventually entirely transparent. You are ready to step beyond the last, lingering shadow of the eye and dissolve into the boundless, beautiful void of the dreamless state. There is no fear in this dissolution, only a great, expansive sense of coming home to a place you have never truly left. The transition is as natural as the shifting of the stars in the rafters above, a graceful, silent migration from the world of form into the world of absolute, unadulterated essence. You are sinking down, deeper than the city, deeper than the history of the house, into the absolute timeless stillness where all is resolved, all is quiet, and all is finally perfectly at rest. The silence is now infinite, and you are its center, drifting at last into the profound, dark, and perfect sleep. The night has reached its final absolute stillness, a point of equilibrium so profound that the attic no longer feels like a structure, but like an infinite dark vessel floating in the silence of the universe. You are resting at the very center of this sanctuary, your body perfectly aligned with the grain of the ancient floorboards, your breath syncing with the slow, resonant heartbeat of the timber beams. The air is cool, dry, and exceptionally pure, carrying a faint, final perfume of cedar and the forgotten dust of ages, a scent that has become the very atmosphere of your soul. You are no longer navigating the memory of the day, nor are you anticipating the dawn. The boundaries of your physical form have softened, blurring into the shadows until you are indistinguishable from the peace that occupies this space. You have arrived at the final destination of your long, meditative journey, a state of total, unadorned being, where the concept of self has gracefully dissolved into the quietude of the room. Your mind, once a repository for the complexities of your trade and the demands of the world, is now as clear and empty as the vast, dark sky above the roof. The intricate patterns of the silk, the logistical weight of the cargo, and the echoes of the marketplace have all vanished, leaving behind a pristine, silent expanse. You are no longer the observer of this silence. You have become the silence itself. This transition is not a loss, but a supreme, quiet completion, a return to the source from which all stillness flows. You feel a profound sense of closure, a deep, resonant alignment with the earth beneath the foundations and the stars above the rafters. Every tension has been released, every lingering question has been answered by the simple, beautiful fact of your presence here, in the heart of the night where nothing is required and all is perfectly, eternally resolved. The silence has become a living, breathing reality, a low-frequency hum that vibrates in the deepest marrow of your bones. It is the sound of the world finally resting, the sound of the cycle concluding. You feel the weight of your own body being supported not just by the floor, but by the very fabric of the history that this attic holds. You are held by the wisdom of the merchant, by the endurance of the mud-brick walls, and by the timeless patience of the desert. There is no fear of the deepening dark, for the dark is the final, most welcoming home. You have done the work, you have traveled the path, and you have honored the silence with your unwavering attention. Now the time for observation has ended, the time for total surrender has arrived. As you release the final, most ephemeral thread of your conscious awareness, you feel a gentle upward buoyancy, as if you are finally untethered from the gravity of your own life. You are slipping through the velvet veil of the night, sinking deep into the cool, dark, and infinite ocean of the dreamless rest. There are no more transitions, no more steps to take, no more states of being to achieve. You are simply letting go of the world, letting go of the name, letting go of the story. You are sinking down deeper than the city, deeper than the history of the house, into the absolute timeless stillness where all is resolved, all is quiet, and all is finally perfectly at rest. The journey is complete, the night is absolute, and you are forever held in the boundless, beautiful peace of the void.
Sleepy History with Arthur is created for relaxation, entertainment, and sleep purposes. The stories shared on this channel are inspired by historical events, daily life, and real periods in history, but they may be simplified, adapted, or narrated in a calming way to enhance the listening experience.
This content is not intended to be a precise academic or educational source.
While we aim to stay generally accurate, some details may be altered for storytelling flow and relaxation. Please do not rely on this channel as a primary source for historical research or study. By listening, you acknowledge that this content is designed to help you unwind, relax, and fall asleep. Thank you for your understanding and support.